Welcome to Gen X Adulting, and today we have Jacob with us. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
We're thrilled that you're here. Our first question is always, what year were you born?
I'm 1996.
Okay, so you are actually a millennial.
I think so.
Yeah, but you're also a zillennial. So you're a zillennial millennial.
What is this Zillennial?
Is this the same thing that all these guys are?
So the other guys are a little younger than him.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
they
it's
were
like a
born in
mix.
97, 98. You're 96. So you're the youngest millennial. But there's a little micro generation of late 90s babies
hmm
that are also like zillennials. So you can relate to the older Gen Zs that are like a year or two younger than you. But you can also relate to the millennials that are like in their early 30s.
100%.
So you're kind of in between
Yeah.
and you have similar childhoods. So most of your childhood was spent fairly technology free, social media free. You know, you kind of still had that old school childhood experience. You guys had flip phones, um,
I had the sidekick.
the sidekick.
I loved it.
There you go.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram all kind of showed up high school, right?
Yep.
So you got most of your formative years before all that showed up.
Yeah, lots of bike riding and walking
Yes.
around the neighborhood, causing
Yeah.
mischief.
Yes,
Yeah.
but without being tracked.
We had walkie-talkies,
Okay,
but we weren't quite tracked.
not
yeah.
by like your
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah,
where
we
the
just
kids
had walkie-talkies.
right. So the kids now, there's Life 360. There's Find My Phone, all that. So when they go out, we can see where they are.
Yeah,
Like
it's
our
pretty
15-year-old, we know where he's at
all the time.
basically all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
cool.
Yeah. So you guys didn't have that. So you were when you were out, you were free.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a younger brother, Josh. Shout out
Okay.
Josh, who is 10, and
Oh, no way.
he is like living in VR.
He's living.
Yeah.
He,
Virtual
he
reality.
uses the Oculus.
Does
all
he
the
really?
time.
Does
yeah.
he?
Oh, cool.
So he's a Gen Alpha.
Is that right? Yeah. Gen
Yeah.
Alpha.
So he's not Gen Z. He's the next one after. He's Gen Alpha. Yeah. So he's that next group.
It's a pretty wild generation.
Yes.
I mean, they still do school sports, but like they don't quite do the same. Like after school, everyone gets on the bikes and rides to each other's house. Now it's like, let's meet up in VR.
Really.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Now
Even
it's-
our youngest is 15 and he has an Oculus, but he doesn't really use it that much.
He uses it sporadically, but definitely
yeah.
not socially.
No.
Yeah. I have one. I haven't found a ton of use for it. It's cool. I put it
Yeah.
on. I'm like, this is cool, but
I almost wonder if they use theirs kind of how I know Nathan, our older son, and even Dylan, Xbox, they're social on
Oh, for sure.
Xbox with their
Yeah.
friends.
that's exactly how it is.
So that's probably how it is. Instead of being on, do they do Xbox?
They do. So they play this game called, I think it's called Monkey Tag.
Okay.
And he got me to play it once, and you have to like use your controllers and climb up trees, and then you like run around this whole like 3D jungle, and you play tag with each other.
Wow.
Wow.
And so they're like running around in this 3D environment, yelling at each other and playing tag. It's pretty wild.
And they're probably
Wow.
playing kids in the UK,
Oh yeah,
the
So-
West Coast,
so
whatever.
it's like Xbox, but
Yeah.
it's just you're actually standing up and doing things.
it's kind of ironic because
Yeah.
they're still playing tag. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big age gap for you
It
guys.
is.
Yeah.
And I have an older brother who is 30,
Okay. Well, that's more you guys.
32.
That's more okay. That's like a few years.
So then
32
your
in May.
your younger brother is more like Dylan is to our kids, kind of
Right.
a bonus baby
Yeah,
in some ways.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bonus
Yeah,
baby.
the
So your
bonus.
brother.
I was 17, I think, when he was born.
okay,
Oh,
there
wow.
you go. Nathan
Yeah.
was 13.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So your brother is a millennial. Like he's definitely a millennial, early
Oh, yeah.
30s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I always say the Zillennials got the best of both worlds. You got to experience that old school childhood, and then you did get to experience technology.
Mm-hmm.
And before technology really, social media really took over, almost the birth of social media, it was still fairly innocent. There wasn't the FOMO. There wasn't the getting gratification from likes and all
We
that
had
type of stuff.
MySpace in middle school.
Oh, did you have MySpace?
I remember having a MySpace and having
Okay.
a profile song and seeing people like viewed your profile and who your top 10 friends were.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was
And
a big thing.
would
Yeah.
that cause drama among friends? Like if anyone was
A little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little middle school drama
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Like if you weren't top 10, you were pissing people off.
For
type of thing.
sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but with MySpace, wasn't there more like coding in there? Didn't you have to do a little more work for
A little bit,
to
yeah.
post?
Yeah, for like to change your background and stuff, you would have to like download templates.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still use
Hmm.
anything socially, any social media platforms socially? Is it more just for your business?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Jacob.Kirstein, my Chapie, and TERA Outdoors.
Okay. And we'll put your links definitely in the
We
description.
will put
and
them right
we'll
there.
put
actually.
everything. Yeah, we'll put everything on the screen and in the description. Do you find you mainly use it for the business or do you also use social media socially?
I have started posting personally less. I want to post more, but it's a lot of work to post, and I really have to focus on posting the best things I can for the business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I take my posting attention to, and then, with Chapie, that's kind of a content machine,
Right.
and TERA. So, that involves hiring editors and scheduled posts and hiring content creators.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, social media is definitely a big part of my life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So where were you born?
I was born in Miami.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
you're a South Florida boy.
Yep.
And how long were you down there?
I was in Miami, I think, till I was 1. Then we moved to Jacksonville till I was 3. And then my first memories kind of start when we moved to Tampa and I was in kindergarten.
Okay, so you've been all over Florida.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
how
we
long
jumped around.
were you in Tampa?
I was in Tampa from kindergarten to the middle of 8th grade.
Okay, and did you grow up with both parents?
Yeah. So my parents obviously started together.
Right.
And
Do you know how they met?
how did my parents meet? I think it was their parents kind of set them up.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
I think they knew each other.
Like family friend type things or
Kind of like that. I know. I think the moms talked.
Okay.
Something like that.
they're like, your son should meet my daughter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I guess they hit it off, and I think they were engaged in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
is this in Miami?
Um,
Is that where they met?
this I believe was in like Miami Aventura area.
And that's where they grew up. That's where they're from.
My dad he grew up in Montreal, then went to New York, and I
Okay.
think back to Montreal, and then to South Florida.
Okay.
And my mom grew up in Miami.
So he's Canadian.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
that's where
he doesn't have citizenship, I don't think.
Okay. But that's where was he born in Canada?
I think he was born in New York,
Oh,
then
okay.
went to Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he went.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so
he
he's
has,
an
like-
American citizen, doesn't have Canadian citizenship.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Pretty positive.
And then your mom's from Miami.
Yeah.
So they met, they got engaged after 6 weeks. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Love at first sight. And married for 15 years
Nice.
till the middle of 8th grade. And then went separate ways. And that's
in
when
Tampa.
we moved.
Okay. So when you were growing up in Tampa, did you play any sports?
Yeah. I played flag football and baseball growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into hockey, ice hockey.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Played
cool.
ice hockey for, I don't know, 8 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So you can skate pretty good then.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I still
Yeah.
skate.
Cool.
That's
I
great.
rollerblade now.
Yeah, cool.
And were you in travel hockey? Like, because I know that's very involved.
I didn't do travel.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was I broke my ankle in 6th grade.
What happened?
When things started getting serious in sports, I was skim boarding,
Mm-hmm.
and one of my foot slipped off the board, got caught in the sand, and I broke my growth plate.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
And I was in a wheelchair for like 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
A wheelchair.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It
Not
was-
even a boot or crutches?
I guess it was eventually we got to crutches.
Yeah.
But it was a cast and wheelchair for like 4 months.
They didn't want to take
Wow.
any chances with that growth
I
plate.
guess not.
It
Yeah.
obviously didn't affect you. Jacob is
Oh,
very
God.
tall.
Yeah, it's still growing.
But do you still feel any pain sometimes from that area?
Barely sometimes. Like if I go for a run, sometimes it'll tighten up. and I got to stretch it out. But it really hasn't been a problem. Not quite like my neck has become a problem.
Well, that is that age more than anything else, or did you do something to your neck?
I was shoulder pressing
Yeah.
about 4 years ago, and I ruptured my C6, C7.
Ooh.
It's actually a crazy story, the whole thing. So basically, I was scheduled for surgery a little over a year ago, and I was like unable to put on a shirt. I couldn't put on my shoes. Basically incapacitated, living with pain.
Yeah.
Really bad. And I had a ski trip plan that I already, I bought an Epic Pass, about the Airbnb and the flights.
Yeah.
And my mom flew in because it was like time for surgery consultation. And we went to the doctor's appointment and we talked about going skiing. And he's like, if you go skiing, you could end up like in so much pain that you feel paralyzed for a little bit.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
don't go skiing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going skiing.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure your mom was like, what?
Me and my mom went at it. She was very concerned for me.
I'm sure she
Rightfully
was.
so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
Well, obviously nothing happened when you were skiing, right?
so it was a miracle.
Okay.
So I'm literally in so much pain at the airport that I'm laying on the floor face up at baggage claim. I remember I'm thinking, what am I doing?
Oh my
And I'm on the mountain. I'm strapping on my boots. I'm like, what am I doing? And I go for a run, and I love snowboarding. So I was like really happy, but my neck started hurting on my second run. So I was like, all right, like instead of riding like looking over my left shoulder, let me try to ride to look over my right shoulder. So riding regular to goofy,
Mm-hmm.
and I started riding goofy, and I fell, and I snapped my neck back into place.
No way.
Yeah,
Seriously?
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But now I go to the chiropractor.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
you're like a candidate for a chiropractor.
I go to a
Yeah.
chiropractor. I love my chiropractor. Yeah, and so it does make sense to me.
I go
'Cause
to Dr. Dan in Boca, if you know him.
Dr. Dan.
Yeah.
I go to Dr. Fano.
Okay.
Do you know who Dr. Fano is?
No, no.
Okay, yeah. But if you find a good chiropractor, you stay with that chiropractor.
100%.
Yeah. You're like, that's my man.
100%.
Yeah, or woman.
Yeah.
No, it does make sense because that's the concept of chiropractic.
That's amazing.
It was adjusted. You got
Yeah.
adjusted on the
Yeah.
slopes.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fell so hard. I
Yeah.
adjusted.
You adjusted yourself.
I remember when I fell, I was like, first, I'm like, am I paralyzed? And then I was
Right.
like, oh my God, I feel great.
That's amazing though, and
Awesome.
life changing because the pain was done.
The week I was going to come back, I was scheduled to have an epidural,
Mm-hmm.
which is an X-ray guided injection to
Right.
your spinal cord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you need that before surgery
Yeah.
for insurance. And then, following a week after that, I would have had surgery and got my disc
Amazing.
fused.
What a
You've
blessing.
Blessed.
done the epidurals and stuff, right?
Well, when I gave birth.
No, but what about what about like pre chiropractor?
No, I did the cortisol shots.
Cortisol, okay.
I had
'cause-
lots of those.
Okay.
Yeah, I did one round and it was like it was temporary. And I have a herniated disc and a bulging disc in my lower back. And a few of my friends go to Dr. Fano and they were like, you need to go see him. I'm telling you. And it was an intense year of I was on the board where they kind of stretch you out a little bit.
yeah.
I did laser but it changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm pain free.
And you know what the surgeon was like, do not go to a chiropractor.
Yes.
Yeah,
The-
they don't
the
like
general
them.
guidance
Yeah.
is don't go.
Oh, there's a lot of people that are anti-chiropractic.
And look at it, it saved our lives.
I
Do
know.
you,
It's
still
crazy.
go regularly
Yeah.
now then?
Maintenance.
I
cool.
go every 45 days.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I try to go once a month. That's what I try to do. I haven't been in a few months because honestly we've been so busy with the podcast, but I need to go
you're
in.
working too, though.
I am, but I can feel it. You know when you can feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
need it
feeling
about every 30 days too.
Yeah. Like I can just kind of I'm like, oh, I need to go. Okay, so I assume that when you're lifting now, you're much more careful.
I'm much more careful. The good news is, I was told never lift anything over my shoulders.
Mm,
And now when I do it, I'm super careful, obviously, but I
Mhm.
can do pull-ups again.
Yeah.
I can do a full range of exercises. I had a trainer that helped me kind of strengthen my back and neck muscles up here. So
yeah.
I feel pretty healthy. I'm mostly living pain-free and
That's
working out.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
and skim boards, like those things are crazy. Like I think you hit an age too. You were young. So that's kind of a freak accident, but I feel like adults shouldn't be on skim boards.
Probably not.
I
Yeah,
think it's just
probably
asking
not.
for like wrist breakage and those they look
Oh, that's
like
the
fun,
thing at
but
the beach, right?
Yeah.
yes.
You run full speed
Yeah,
and
yeah.
throw
yes,
the board.
yes,
I
exactly.
think we know someone who did that, probably younger than me, but they broke, I think, both of
Yes.
their wrists.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
one of those things
It's
you're
a
like,
dangerous one.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
pass on that. Okay, so your parents got divorced when you were what was this 13?
I was, I think, probably just about 12 because it was
12.
right before my bar mitzvah.
Okay.
And, they try to work things out before we moved for probably like a year.
Mm-hmm. And then you moved with your mom
I moved with my dad
down to
to
South Florida,
Boca.
to Boca,
Yep.
and then your mom stayed in Tampa.
Yep.
And what about your brother?
He came with me.
Okay, and how come Boca?
It's a good question. So my dad was probably a year into his relationship with my stepmom.
Okay.
And it was about time to get married. And
Okay.
she lived in Aventura. And I think they just liked Boca. Oh, the schools. He loved Boca High. He thought
Okay.
like it was,
Yeah.
it's graded pretty high. So he's like, we'll go here.
So where did you go for middle school?
I went to Omni for half a semester.
Okay, so my personal opinion is that middle school sucks. I think middle school is the worst. As a parent and as a child, when I was a child, and for my children, I can't. And I'm not saying that's true for everybody, but I think there's a decent amount of people that say middle school was not their most favorite time of their life. I can't imagine moving in the middle of 8th grade and starting a new school and in a new town and in a new part of the state after your parents have gotten divorced. How was that adjustment?
I remember when we sat down and we were talking about like should we move, and I had a lot of friends at school and I did like Tampa, but for some reason I was like, let's go, almost like too cool for school type of mentality. I don't know where everyone else in my family their reason, but I think like when I think back then it was like, yeah, let's get out of here,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and things were tough.
Were you kind of ready for a new start?
It was time to seek new opportunities.
Something had to give. So you're
Yeah.
like, okay, let's do this.
So yeah, we moved, and then in 8th grade I was just the new kid,
And how was that? Were you able to make friends, or was it tough?
It was hard, but I like acting out. I have fun causing reactions and stares. So I would do absolutely ridiculous things in class.
Mhm.
Some of my classmates would remember me just randomly like in the middle of class picking up an eraser and being like hello and pretending to be on a phone call and just shouting things. So I made friends quickly, and
So you were like a class clown, kind of.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I hate the word clown. I would like to entertainer.
Entertainer,
Yeah.
okay,
I
okay.
like that.
I think you have a mutual
Yeah,
class
I'd love
entertainer over
it.
here.
Yeah.
He did the same type of similar stuff,
No.
I think.
I was a good kid.
No, but it's probably one of the ways that it broke the ice and you were able to,
I think probably a coping mechanism too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
A little bit of a defense mechanism, and
for
Yeah.
sure. Laughter's the best medicine.
that's true. That's
So
true.
I was just having fun with it.
And so from there you went to Boca High. Did you stay friends with some of those kids from Omni into Boca High, or was Boca High just a completely new beginning?
So I used to try to sit at the cool kids table because
Mhm.
that was important to me. I
Yeah.
was like, who are the cool kids? Let me go sit with them.
Yeah.
And I would just sit at this table every single day, and no one would talk to me, and I wouldn't talk to anyone. And it would be like, I guess, like they'd all be talking the whole time, and
Yeah.
I'd just be sitting there, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the kids that I'd always sit at this table ended up going to my high school. His name's Riley, and we're still friends today.
That's
and he
cool.
kind of remembered me as a new kid who would just sit at this
Yeah.
table.
He's like, you would just sit down and
Just sit down and try to chat.
Yeah. Just absorb the whatever was going on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
where else was I gonna
Yeah,
say?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
didn't know anyone.
So you had Riley going into Boca High in a way, like you guys knew each other.
100%.
And then Boca High is a brand new beginning.
Yeah. I think Riley and my friend Naeem at the time
Mhm.
also went there.
Okay. And how was Boca? How was your experience there?
Boca High was a lot of fun. I started in robotics class my freshman year and met Gary, one of my close friends now. We just celebrated his birthday last night.
Nice.
And we became friends, and we would all like longboard down 18th and go to McDonald's. You know, that's just what we did back then.
Yeah. Now they bike.
Yeah.
Now
or
they're
they
all
got
on
the
bikes.
hoverboard.
Yes.
Scooters,
Yeah.
Did
e-bikes.
Did you play sports at Boca High?
I played hockey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How was the team then?
I think we were all right.
Yeah.
We did okay.
Yeah. They actually did good this year.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
No,
I'm
they
happy to
did.
hear that.
I always forget Boca High has a hockey team until I meet a kid that's on the hockey
Have
team.
you seen that new ice rink they put in?
No, I haven't been there yet.
But you know where it's at.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool. They do men's league at night, hockey league.
My dad and my little brother go there.
Okay,
and
cool.
they have like the light up bumper car things over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So where Boca High practices now is down at, I think, where the Panthers play. I think that's where
Really?
they practice.
Oh, like Sawgrass?
I think so.
No,
yeah.
no. They're not practicing there. I bet
Is that where they're playing games? Yeah, because Luke goes
no,
down there.
I think the Panthers
They have a rink down there.
Yeah.
A different rink.
Okay, no, so you're not saying
No, just in that
okay.
facility.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
close by.
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
think they definitely play games down there, but I think they practice.
That's
down
where
there.
that's where I used to play. I can't remember the name of the rink.
Yeah,
but I used to
down
play
there,
over there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hall from here. It's a
It's like
bit of a
Panthers
drive.
Ice Den, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's what they call it.
Something like that. Okay, so you played hockey. You were into robotics. Was there anything else you were into during high school?
So I also enrolled into drafting and design,
Mm.
which is kind of what shaped the rest of my life.
Are you naturally artistic?
I like to think so, slightly.
Yeah.
I try.
I mean, you either are, like none of us are, so I can tell you. I think if you can do that, you are.
Yeah.
You know.
I wouldn't say it's probably my best skill. Like I can't paint, I can't really draw, but I know like good graphic design.
Yeah.
I know like I can 3D model engineering stuff, blocks and squares.
Yeah. Yeah. That's artistic.
So more like the CAD as opposed to freehand type of art?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've made some cool things though. I took a sushi boat and made a wood table out of it, and
nice.
I've painted some cool things.
Yes.
Cool.
A little
So you're
artistic.
artistic.
A
You're
little bit,
creative.
yeah.
So
Creative.
what you did that kind of spur and what you wanted to go for in college?
Well, it started from that drafting and design course where, I took it for 4 years.
Oh wow.
We all just had a ball in there. We'd just be on the computer and putz around, and it was very chill.
Was it ACE or AP, or was it just like 1, 2, 3, 4?
It was just an elective.
That's cool. That was all 4 years.
Yeah, and they taught me about 3D printing, and that's kind of where I was like, okay, I want to 3D print an invention and make a ton of money, and that's kind of like I just got addicted to that concept.
Mm-hmm.
And that started in high school.
Yeah. I
That's
was
really
like,
cool.
well, if I can design anything and I can just print it, then I
Yeah.
can make anything.
Yeah.
And that was pretty early, wasn't it, in the 3D printing? Because what was that,
Yeah, it was at the
2013,
beginning of 3D
2014?
printing.
They were
Yeah.
expensive and slow as hell, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think we'd even really heard of it.
I would say your dad made a good choice in Boca High because the electives
Absolutely.
over there, the opportunity for kids, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good school.
Yeah.
And then it led you to what you wanted to do in college.
Their drafting program was awesome.
Absolutely.
The teacher was awesome too, Mr. Coletti.
I wonder if he's still there,
I think so.
I feel like
think
I've
he's
heard
still
that
there.
name.
Mr.
Yeah.
Coletti.
Yeah.
So, how did you decide where you wanted to go to college?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. I remember people started talking about college, and that wasn't. I don't think it was talked that much about in my house. So, I didn't know anything about frats or sororities or really why college. But I guess I've always had like a really high drive.
Mhm.
So I was like, I want to go to Stanford.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember going to the counselor's office and talking about like, you think I can make it into Stanford? Like, what do I got to do? And they sat me down there like, there's absolutely zero chance you can get into Stanford. So
I love it though. I love the drive.
I wanted to do something cool.
Yeah.
So I got a letter in the mail from Embry Riddle, and it just had rockets and airplanes on it, and I was like, well, that's got to be the hardest thing I can do. And I like drafting a design. Let me try this. So I went into aerospace engineering.
So, were you looking for? You said that's got to be the hardest thing I can do. So, do you just have a natural, um, not need, but an inclination to always be challenging yourself?
Yeah, I feel like the limits are like only what you give yourself.
And that started at such a young age in high school.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You moved around quite a bit. What do you remember why you were moving so much? Was like your dad in military, your parents in military, or?
I think my dad switched jobs a few times from when I was 1 to like 5. I think he switched jobs twice,
Yep.
3 times.
Okay, that
And then
makes
that was
sense.
just the job moves. And then you said the college wasn't discussed in your home very much. Did your parents go to school?
Yeah. Both of my parents have a degree.
Okay.
My
So,
mom just got her master's while my parents were getting a divorce.
okay.
I helped her.
And
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She stayed in your life even though she was in Tampa.
Yeah, so it started off when they first got divorced, it was 50-50. So I think I was in 7th grade when that all went down. And I would go 1 week at my dad's, 1 week at my mom's, and back and forth.
When you were still in Tampa?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about when you moved here?
When I moved here, it's just live with my dad and then see my mom on holidays.
Okay. And are you and your mom close?
Yeah, we're really good now,
Okay, good.
which is great.
Yeah, because I'm sure that was hard with the distance.
It was tough. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. No, that's good that you guys.
Well, it's
are
funny.
there.
You would think you're in the same state, but for people who don't realize that Florida's a big state.
It's
Yeah,
huge.
You know.
3.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's if you're speeding.
That's if you're going pretty fast.
Yeah. Which we all do down here.
I made that drive a few times.
Yeah.
So where did you pick to go to school to study aerospace engineering?
I went
correct?
to UCF.
And they're known for that, right?
Yeah, so I got Fulbright Futures and then accepted into the STEM program and the the Excel program. So just like right off the bat, just thrown into advanced math and meeting different people that were into math like me. It was kind of the first time I met people who had the engineering profile, just kind of
Yeah.
math minded. More my type of people. There's not that many engineers, and there's definitely not a lot of social engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool to make new friends that were interested in the same thing as me, and we would just be up 24/7 just grinding.
Was that the first time that you felt you really had friends that were like-minded like that?
It took a while. I didn't feel that till sophomore year when I moved in with my buddy Sean, Jeffrey, and Creed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the first time. My freshman year of college, I was actually severely depressed for most of it. Really depressed.
Were you overwhelmed with the academic aspect or the social or?
I think I just, I was lost.
Mm-hmm.
I was lost. And I didn't really have many friends either because there's not a lot of social engineers. So a lot of the people I would meet weren't really my type of people. And then the people who were my type of people were in finance doing frat stuff. And I didn't really want to do that. So I
Yeah.
really just spent most of my freshman year in my room working on my first invention, which was a smokeless and odorless vaporizer.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of utility for that.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
When you say, just for clarification for anybody listening, you mean you're a technical engineer, but you're a social guy.
Yeah.
So you're with engineers who probably weren't as social.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did
Yeah.
you have any friends from Boca High that went to UCF?
I did, but they did kind of their frat finance
okay.
group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of were focused on your passion that year and used that as your outlet.
I was
to
just like,
cope.
I got to just make a ton of money from a invention. And this seems like the thing. And then everyone I told it to, obviously a bunch of college freshmen,
Yes.
thought
Yeah.
the idea was amazing.
Yeah.
So
They're like, we'll buy that.
You're like, yeah, definitely make that. So
Did
that
you
was,
actually, did you get it to market and sell it at all?
I got We worked on it for I think 6 years. It's when it
Oh,
finally wrapped up.
Wow.
Yeah, really hard to pull that off. But basically, you hit it and then blow it back in.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I invented like a filter that was like the size of my thumb. I raised money with an investor. I had a partner to do the electronics. So we had a few working prototypes. Um, Looking back, obviously there's no mistakes and regrets, but I wish I worked on something a little more productive.
Mm.
But I did learn a lot about inventing and 3D printing and designing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
manufacturing and
Yeah.
getting quotes from China. I mean, it set me up for Chapie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you worked on that pretty much your whole freshman year. And then for the next 5 years, you continued to work on that as you
Did other
and did
things.
other things.
Yep.
So your sophomore year is when you kind of found your people, your
Yeah.
group.
So sophomore year, part of the STEM or Excel program that I was in was touring different laboratories. So I toured this Center for Microgravity Research at UCF, and I just came in a suit and went to the lab director, and I was like, I need to work here. And so I got a job, and they put me on designing a CubeSat, which is a satellite that's like this big.
Which is like 2 feet for listeners.
Yeah, it's about 2 feet. It's a little cube,
Okay.
and they had me 3D print the whole mock-up. So I got to use my 3D printing skills,
Cool.
and then we turned it into a real thing that went to space over the next 4 years.
No way.
Yeah,
And what did it do?
it studied particle collisions in 0G. So we would have like little tiny marbles and different grains of sand that would be in this experiment cell that would shake. And it would have a camera above that would watch how the particles collide. And then they would study how the like transfer of momentum between the particles was different in 0G compared to Earth, because you can't really study that on Earth because there's gravity. But in space, like the particles bounce off each other, and they conserve their momentum more.
Wow. So how would that information be used?
To study how asteroids hit planets and craters are formed, and then you can project like the size of the asteroid just by looking at the crater.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. I'm just trying to wrap my head
That is
around it. I'm envisioning
amazing.
this, and I'm thinking. So on the camera, though, the camera has to be extreme
It was a GoPro.
magnification,
It was a GoPro.
and it was like, oh, get out of here!
Yeah, yeah. The
A GoPro went up into space?
What a trip!
Yeah. The particles. I mean, they were like a millimeter in size.
Okay, so all right.
Yeah.
I was thinking microscopic. I don't know why.
That's what you think when you hear particles.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was your sophomore year you're working on this.
This is sophomore year.
Crazy. And then, so what did you do junior year?
The junior year, I went to SpaceX.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that happen where you have your freshman year, start your first invention. Sophomore year, you are part of something that goes into space, and then you end up at SpaceX. How did that happen?
Kind of just back to my drive of just trying to achieve outlandish things. I applied to SpaceX my freshman year nonstop, my sophomore year nonstop. Sophomore year, I got interviews, was rejected, but then I remembered the interview questions for my junior year, and I stayed up for like 3 days straight preparing for that interview. And I found one of the questions, I think it's what got me the internship, was like, what do you do if you drop a tool in a fuselage? Like, how do you make sure it's not damaged? And someone posted this question online and gave the answer, and it's like, check ISO 1800-D3 or something.
Yeah.
So I got asked that question, and I knew the answer.
Nice.
And
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you leave at UCF?
This was for summer, so I flew to LA. They put my car on a train and flew me out to LA for 3 months,
Oh.
and it was awesome.
What?
Sure.
I
I was
just-
thinking that you might have, because UCF's in Orlando,
Mhm.
and it's pretty close to both NASA and SpaceX, right on the East Coast. But you actually went all the way out to LA.
Yeah, so that's where their headquarters were for
Okay.
Falcon 9. So they did operations at the Cape, but they did their manufacturing, and that was my role. I was a production manufacturer engineer.
So you get out there, and I assume they got you an apartment?
They So the apartment story is actually wild. So they pair you with other interns, and then you make a group chat and you find your own long-term Airbnb. So I was in
Okay.
charge for our group for the Airbnb, and I am about to get on the plane, and the Airbnb host cancels the reservation, a 2.5 month reservation.
I've heard of that happening for people.
Oh,
She won't go
I
to
don't go.
Airbnb.
I don't
she,
trust them.
She doesn't trust them.
it was so bad.
Yeah.
We were stranded in LA, the four of us.
Oh, God.
We had
And
nowhere to
did
go.
you guys know each other before this, or just
No.
a group chat? From
Yeah,
all
just
different
group
parts?
chat.
Did they blame you? Were they like, dude, what the hell?
They could have, but they didn't.
Yeah,
That's
good,
cool.
Yeah, so I appreciate that.
good. Yeah.
Where were they from?
All over. My good friend from there, Dustin, was from upstate New York, and then there was two others.
Okay. And then, so what'd you guys do?
So I think we stayed in a hotel in the hood that night.
Nice.
For 2 nights. I think for a week. Yeah, and a week in Long Beach. It was sketchy.
Yeah, Long Beach is
It was
sketchy. Yeah.
sketchy. I remember we were getting out to go to work one day, and there was someone. It was probably 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And there was someone like in like a tutu, like fully probably on crack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just tripping.
And with a balloon, just like like running down. We were like, "Where are we?"
Almost
Okay, time to
sounds
go
like
to
Portland.
SpaceX. Yeah, right. That's crazy. You guys are just these really smart kids going to work at SpaceX, and here's the
Yeah.
opposite of that. The other spectrum.
We
Oh
ended
my
up
gosh.
getting a great spot, but it took a week to find. But we ended
Okay.
up getting a really solid spot.
That's
Cool.
great. And then what did you do there? I mean, what is SpaceX like?
So the first day I could not believe I was standing there, and I'm pretty sure I told my manager that, which probably not a great thing to do, to be in awe.
Yeah.
I had never had a job other than Carrabba's.
Oh.
And, the undergraduate research wasn't like a career. That was research at UCF. It's not a job.
Right.
It's a job, but it's not really like a corporate job. So, also these kids were from MIT and, the best engineering schools, and they knew way more than I did. And I probably was there too early. But I remember walking in, you meet your manager, you meet your group, and you walk in and it's just rocket hardware everywhere, like crew capsules being built. They had a dragon hanging from the dragons at one of the crew capsules. They had it hanging from the ceiling in the cafeteria with the char from reentry still on it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And just like pictures of Mars blown up on the walls everywhere and Mars terraformed. And I mean, you walk in there and you're like, this is like I'm living in the future. Like what it is pretty insane.
That's cool.
Wow. I can't even imagine.
It was really fun. And they had like a full-time coffee bar there. They had gourmet food for everyone. And the culture was just, it was different for the full-time than the interns. The interns had to work 50 hours a week, not a minute more, not a minute less. And you had to get everything done in those 50 hours because you couldn't work extra time. So that was tough because we were young and we wanted to have fun and experience California.
Right.
And we wanted to work 12 hours, 4 days in a row, and then get off early on Friday and go explore the city.
Yeah.
I'd never been to California. So yeah, it was a lot of hard work. And at the same time, I'm still trying to develop the vape. And
Right.
I had this other product I was trying to develop.
So you're still working on your side
Yeah.
hustles and at SpaceX. Did you learn a ton that
A
summer?
ton. Yeah. I mean, I did all sorts of things. I climbed inside the fuselage of a Falcon 9 and created an inspection guide so they could determine different glues and sealants just by shining a UV light on them. I qualified a sealant that protects water from damaging the inside where like the barrel meets the wall.
Mhm.
There's like a crevice, and they want them to be reusable, so they don't want water just staying in there. So they created a sealant, and I qualified that. I made a drig for the grid fins that help it land. I helped improve a flipping. So the rocket's made in sections, and they have to work on the bottom and the top of the barrels. And they were using two cranes. They were like picking up a barrel, flipping it, putting it down, re-rigging it on the other end, and then picking it up. And then I was like, why don't you just flip it midair? and they were like, well, we don't do that for a reason, so go figure out what that reason is. And I'm like, I don't think there's a reason you guys don't do it. I just think you haven't thought about it. And I got pushback for a while, but they ended up doing it and saved them a ton of time.
Wow. Did you get recognition for that?
No. No, not much. But
how old were you? 20? 19? 20?
That time, junior year, 21, 22.
Did someone get credit for it? Take your idea and run with it?
Not even, no. It's just, I think it's just like, like go and work and go faster.
It's wild that, I mean, that's cool that as an intern, you had expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than
high expectations.
Yeah, that's wild. That's awesome.
I didn't end up getting a return offer.
Did other kids?
Yeah, my good friend Dustin did.
After doing all those things?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's because I screwed up one project.
Which project was it?
So the rocket lays on rolled rings, and the inside of the rocket has pressure vessels inside of it, and sometimes it'll be more heavy on one end, so it will want to kind of like spin. And so they were trying to add, it's kind of complicated, but up the rocket, they have all the fuel lines and hydraulic lines. And there's cutouts in the roll rings where those lines run through. So there's different versions of the rocket. There's Falcon Heavy and just a regular Falcon. So the raceways are in different locations. So they wanted to create these blocks that you could clip on to the roll rings, so that you could add extra friction to the rocket when you turn it.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys could follow that. I kind of need a diagram.
I know, but I did. I followed what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happened?
I didn't know what the heck I was doing at all. I wasted way too much time designing and not enough time testing.
Okay.
And I was just so focused on doing it right the first time, which is a big flaw. And I remember in my end of internship performance review, they were like, because I was doing different projects for different people on the team, and I guess I wasn't communicating well enough with one of the key stakeholders about the status of the project. And I know the blocks came in after I left. I have no idea if they ever ended up using them or what happened. But yeah, I mean, I could do that project in a week now. It took me almost a whole internship to figure that thing out.
Was there something you learned from that you took forward with you?
Yeah, test quickly.
Instead of being so worried about preparation and perfection.
Yeah, don't be a perfectionist.
Fail forward.
Yeah.
Just keep failing forward.
100%.
Yeah, that's a great lesson.
Yeah, it was a good lesson.
Yeah. Sorry, you were going to ask something.
No, I was just going to say, why do you think you could do it in a week now that it took you so long before?
Oh, because I haven't stopped thinking about it now.
Okay, yeah. All right. That's an awesome answer.
Okay. Did you meet Elon?
I walked by him while I was listening to his biography. So they have an executive bathroom at SpaceX where they have a bucket as a urinal. And the legend has it that they told Elon if he started SpaceX, he wouldn't have a bucket to piss in. So he installed a bucket for everyone to piss in.
No way.
So I remember I peed in the bucket, and then I was listening to his biography, and I was walking back to my desk, and I passed him, and I was like listening about his childhood. I'm like, this is weird.
Wow. Talk about surreal.
Yeah, that was strange. It was definitely strange.
That's a moment in life.
Yeah, you're not actually allowed to go up and talk to him because, he's kind of celebrity status. So this is 2017 now. I'm sure it's even more strict.
Yeah.
But
that's cool though.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So you spent a summer there.
Yeah, I think it totaled 3 months.
And that was before junior year or senior year?
That was junior year.
Okay, so then you go back to UCF, and you're still doing the same stuff at UCF as when you left, pretty much.
So we send up the satellite. I think it was my senior year. I start getting into propulsion systems because at SpaceX, that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on the rocket engine. So I tried to get into propulsion systems, and we had senior design, and we made a rocket powered glider. And I started my first website business that flopped. It was called BizKick, and it was for founders to be able to meet each other, kind of like Tinder for founders.
When you say founders, what do you mean?
Like entrepreneurs.
Okay. So it's kind of okay. So it's like you just said, Tinder for
found a company.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Okay.
All these things exist now. Like the smokeless vape, there's a full company around it. Someone
Okay.
stole the
Like
exact
the
idea.
packs.
It's like the packs, but it's literally has a smoke filter in it. It's got 2 nozzles. It's exactly what I invented.
No
but
shit.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a whole company around it. And then the Tinder for founders exists too.
Do you think those were stolen from your idea?
I like to think so, but probably not.
I mean, if you invented it, though,
Maybe.
you just don't know.
And,
Yeah.
just to go back, so when you're at UCF actually launches satellites.
Yeah. So it wasn't in UCF's rocket. They make rockets, but they're all suborbital. But yeah, we sent a satellite up, and I also was flown out to Puerto Rico and helped them design Puerto Rico's first satellite, which was pretty cool.
When was that?
I think that was my senior year around.
Very cool. How long were you in Puerto Rico?
I think a week. I would just go in and just tell them everything about what we did.
Did you get a chance to also see Puerto Rico?
Yeah. Yeah. They put me up in a nice spot on the beach and
Cool.
Nice.
got to drive around the island a little bit.
Cool.
Nice.
It was
Nice.
cool.
Now, did you spend any time at the Space Center here in Florida?
Yeah. So when I graduated, I got a job at NASA.
Oh, okay. Okay. So wait. Okay. So UCF junior year, senior year, still working on the same stuff.
Yep.
And then you graduate.
I have a super senior year.
You have a super senior year?
Yeah.
What do
I
you
did
mean?
5 years.
Oh, super. I've never heard it called that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I
a
haven't
super
either.
senior year.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that. It's better
super
than
senior.
5th year.
Yeah.
That's what okay.
I did it on purpose. I loved college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
So-
question though. How did you get so smart? Yeah, I mean, seriously, like this is very technical stuff you're talking about. It's semi-nebulous for the common folks, right? How'd you get into it? How do you learn it? Did you sleep much? Is it just a grind? Is it curiosity?
I definitely grinded a lot in college.
Mhm.
A lot of people would be out partying, and I would be in my room just working on the next prototype. But I think it was just, I used to build Legos when I was younger. I had a whole shelf of Legos, so I've kind of always been this way. I remember taking apart my grandpa's cameras. He would give me his old broken cameras, and I would just take them apart,
Mhm.
just like study how they work. And I think I was always this way.
So you're born this way.
I think so.
Just a endless curiosity and thinking. It seems like.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Math minded.
Math minded.
Yeah.
Because you probably took like the highest ACE and AP math courses at Boca High. I would
Yeah. It
assume.
took pre-calc, which I think is the highest you go in high school. I think they did calc at FAU, but I didn't do that. And in college, I did differential equations, and the next thing up from that is linear algebra, and then you get a math minor, which I wanted to do. I should have done it. Maybe
Well-
I'll still do it.
What was your degree in?
Aerospace engineering.
And did you have a minor?
I didn't.
Okay.
But so it's interesting because so many people are like, "Oh, why do I do this math? It doesn't translate." You're saying it does. The advanced math.
I love math.
Translates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love math and physics.
What about reading and writing?
Suck at
English.
it.
Okay. So
Not great.
it's that one side brain. So
Yeah.
which one works better for you, SAT, ACT? Because I know if you're good at one thing, you go for the one.
So they say I should have done better on the ACT, but I did horrible on the ACT. I did really well on the SAT.
On the SAT, because the ACT is more math and science,
Yeah.
right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's
I did-
interesting.
Yeah. I'm not a great test taker, I don't think.
Okay. So were your grades in school always were you just straight
Awful.
A's? Awful.
Not awful. So A's and B's until high school.
Okay.
In Spanish, I can barely do English. So Spanish, I got a D in.
Was that the class you took with our son Nathan?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. That was a fun class, and had to
Testing
retake that.
vapes.
I think I met Nathan in my second year of Spanish.
Oh,
one,
okay.
I think.
Because you only have to take 2 years language, right?
Unless you fail or get a D,
Right.
then you gotta take 3.
That's funny.
So yeah, I got a D in Spanish. So A and B in everything else.
Okay.
Normally like an A in math, B in writing, and then I think I got a C my senior year of high school, and then all through college it was mostly A's and B's and some C's, and I ended up with a 3.000.
Okay, in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are not awful grades. Like when you say awful, people are picturing like D's,
Yeah,
F's.
that's true.
Yeah.
To
you
me, I
know,
was like, yeah,
Yeah.
know
Well, I
how-
mean, at the level that you're thinking, probably, and maybe your peers too, that anyone, it would be straight A's, right?
Mhm.
Or the high, so maybe in your world, if you got a B, that's like not so good. But for like
B's were cool with me. It
regular
was C's that freaked me out.
C's, yeah. But getting a C your senior year, by then you already have been accepted, right?
I think so.
Because senior year is kind of just like don't totally mess up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
pretty much all your apps are in. You're just waiting. So as long as you don't totally mess up, it's not going to throw anything off.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys lost me. Were you A's and B's in college, or were you just talking about all high
No,
school?
it sounds like you were A's and B's.
I was A's
every-
and B's until like besides Spanish, got a D in Spanish.
Yep.
And then senior year, I
Of high
got,
school.
I think my first C, yeah.
Okay, got it.
And then
then-
A's and B's in college, right?
In college, I was holding on for dear life and ended up with a 3.00.
That's what I thought.
But you were taking probably incredibly
Yeah,
hard
very
classes.
hard. And I was working on
I was gonna
building
say,
a satellite,
Yeah.
and I was building a business.
So
And
your
it's
grades,
SpaceX.
your college grades don't reflect, say, your intellectual capacity, or because you were doing a bunch of stuff.
I never went to class.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I didn't really like. Obviously, I wanted good grades,
Yeah.
but I didn't go to class ever.
Is your brain the type that you can look at something and you already have it figured out and it's almost like a pain to have to do it and turn it in?
Depends on the subject.
Math.
Math. Depends on the problem.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Because I know there's kids that are so smart that they get bad grades because they just don't want to turn it in. Because it's like, I already know it. You know, they already have figured it all out.
I wouldn't say that was me. I'm not quite that smart.
Okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
wish.
Yeah.
When you chose to go to UCF, I know Stanford was probably the dream, right? But where was that on your bump down? Was it 2? Was it 10?
It was an Ivy League school, but it was where I wanted to go. I got into FSU. Oh, I really wanted to go to UF. UF denied me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I know. Yeah,
Jeez.
telling me.
Did you get into
UCF's
FSU?
legit though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for what he did.
That's what I'm
UCF has a
saying.
better aerospace engineering.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. And
We-
I would think robot. Like, so we toured UCF, FSU, UF, did the whole thing. I loved UCF
Yeah.
because you could tell close partnership with the business of the entertainment industry at Disney, Universal, probably Busch Gardens, all the rides.
The hospitality.
NASA
oh, the
and
rides.
SpaceX
yeah.
are what, 50 miles away, or
Yep.
less than 100 for sure. So you could it had a great engineering vibe to me.
Yeah, it was a great engineering school. I learned a lot mostly through building. The classes were solid. I definitely noticed when I got to SpaceX that it was not even close, and I wasn't learning anything these guys were learning,
Really.
Mm,
which was not fun. But
right.
yeah, I ended up learning it at SpaceX or NASA or building. Building's always the best way
experience.
to learn, especially for engineers.
Like hands-on experience.
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
you have no idea what you're doing. If
Yeah.
you're not actually building and you're just going to class, I mean, there was kids who got straight A's that never built anything, and then that's your job
all
as an
like
engineer is to
theoretical
build
stuff.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you did the super, what'd you call it? Super spring,
Super summer or super senior.
Super
super
I love
senior
that.
year.
Yeah.
So when did you apply, or how did you end up with NASA? Was that your goal? Or
No, it was kind of my nightmare, to be honest.
okay. So what did you envision for yourself after graduation?
I thought I'd have a product take off. I'd be in a good position to start a company, and then it would be like a simple product, and then I'd roll it into like a big tech thing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe an aerospace company, flying cars. I wanted to do something really big.
Mm-hmm. And then as you got closer to graduating, what made you decide? Like, were you applying for jobs, or were you just still
I was
focusing on your
applying
own thing?
places. I didn't really want to go anywhere. SpaceX said, see ya.
Mm-hmm.
And I helped my friend get a job at NASA. I wasn't really looking because I don't know. I couldn't come to grips with the reality that this was actually happening. It really was like my worst fear to have to get a 9 to 5.
Okay.
And I helped a friend get a job. I like told him everything I did with the satellite, and he ended up getting a job. And then I was in a position where I needed something. It was like, I don't know, maybe a month before graduation. I had nothing lined up. I'd been trying for months. And I'm like, you think you could get me a job at NASA? So he's like, yeah. So I got an interview. And then we were both interns there. Started as an internship, then went full time. And then my role there was to analyze the launch pad structures for SLS. So it turned out to be really fun. I loved my time at NASA. I
Okay.
had a great time.
And how long were you there?
I was there just under a year, I think.
So what were you, like 23, 24?
I think 24.
So you're
Right around the
24.
time I met my now fiance.
Okay, so you're 24 and you've already worked for SpaceX.
Yeah.
You've already invented things and are working on an invention, and you're working for NASA.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize like what huge accomplishments all those are at such a young age?
Yeah, I try to do better to give myself credit because I
Yeah.
think that's important. But a lot of the times I just minimize what I do and just think about where I want to be, which isn't totally healthy.
No. So would you say back when you were doing these things, or at least working at NASA, were you present and able to acknowledge what a big deal that was?
Not at NASA. At SpaceX, I knew. At SpaceX, I was like, but you know what pissed me off is I would go around in LA and we'd be out to bars. It'd be like, they'd be like, oh, so what are you doing? I'm like, I work at SpaceX. What's that? No one knew.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No one knew.
Yeah.
Absolutely no one. And then you tell them you're working on rockets. You're like, oh, well, it's not NASA. Like, what is it? It's nothing.
What a trip.
Yeah.
Well, that was SpaceX
Well,
was
now-
just starting.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
right around the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now everybody knows.
Yeah. Now everyone in the world knows what SpaceX is.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
So you're at NASA, and you're working with your friend
Yeah.
that got you the job, and then you met your fiance.
Yeah.
And what did she do there?
So I met her right before my senior design project, which is basically the last day of college.
Was she at
And-
UCF?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we matched on Tinder, and I slid in with guess what? And she's like, what? And I said chicken butt, and she fell in love.
I
But
love that.
She made me wait a month to meet her. I ended up thinking I was getting catfished. I'm like, this person's not real.
So you guys were
um,
talking and everything, but
Yeah,
just
we were
not-
talking all the time. I kept
Yeah.
telling her, hey, come to this, come to this, come to this, come to this.
Yeah.
No, can't.
Yeah.
And I would talk to my friends about her, and I'd be like, I'm like 90%. I remember thinking if we don't hang out in the next week, I'm like almost positive this is not a real person.
Right.
And I'm with my friends at the pool, and I remember she's like, hey, I'm out with my friends. Do you want to come meet us? I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like
like-
in The Office. You watch The Office?
Yeah,
And when they're all
They're
like
like, "Oh
freaking,
my God,
it's happening, it's
yeah."
happening.
That was literally me. And no one wanted to come with me to downtown.
Oh,
And I just had to know if she was real.
yeah.
So I rode to myself, chugged a little vodka,
Yep.
put it in a little Gatorade bottle, took an Uber by myself, 20-minute ride to downtown, and walked into like 12 of her friends
Oh,
at
wow.
brunch.
At brunch.
Yeah, at brunch.
Oh, man.
And yeah, within the first 5 minutes, she was feeding me chicken tenders. I was like, this is it.
I love it.
Yeah. that was a
Listen,
wrap.
that's the definition of if he wanted to, he would.
Yeah.
I tell that to my daughter and her friends. If he wanted to, he would.
100%.
And I'm a big believer in that. That
100%.
guys, if he's interested in you, there's no confusion.
Yeah.
You'll know.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. I think, games are very common, but thank God we never
Yeah.
had that stage in our
You're
relationship.
so fortunate.
So
You're
after
so
that, then
fortunate.
was it more frequent to see each other? She didn't make you wait another 30 or 60 days,
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, we literally were inseparable.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't think we spent more than, a day apart since then.
That's
And,
awesome.
well, what are the chances of her also working at NASA?
So she didn't work at NASA.
Oh, okay.
She worked at the basketball arena in downtown Orlando where the
Okay.
Magic play
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
and
So,
help do events there.
so she hospitality.
Yeah.
Okay. Which in UCF, that's great for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
That's
school
where
for
you go.
hospitality.
So you were, because where were you? You weren't in Orlando when you were working for NASA, were you? Did you move?
Hey,
Yeah, no. So we took a shuttle every day. I graduated.
Okay.
I got the job, and I was still in Orlando with my roommates from college, and we would take a shuttle to NASA, about an hour ride there, hour ride back every morning at like 6 a.m. I'd be up. It was awful, and I'd be in the bus on my laptop trying to work on my side business. It was so bad. Maybe that's where I got the neck problems from.
Yeah.
So you're okay. So an hour, and that's 5 days a week,
Yeah, those 5 days a week.
and that you did that for a year.
Yeah, and I saw so much of NASA. There's so much built out there. I got to go from the catacombs, which is like tunnels under the launch pad, to the top of the tallest launch tower,
That's
and
cool.
like 300 feet in the air. I got certified to climb lightning towers because I was a structural engineer.
Wow.
So they have 3 lightning towers. I think they're like 350 feet up. And I put on a harness, and we're just climbing this ladder
Oh my
all the
gosh.
way
That's
up.
crazy.
It was nuts.
Are you not scared of heights?
I know. I love adrenaline.
Okay.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, you couldn't do
I
it.
have height
no.
issues.
Yeah.
I don't even like going on the roof.
Yeah.
I was scared of heights until I skydived, which was during my internship at SpaceX. We
Yeah.
had like a week off because when I was there, they just did their launch land repeat, which is like the first time they landed a rocket
Mhm.
and then relaunched it. So they planned this big party, and then they had like a summer break. The party was insane. Elon went all out, rented Paramount Pictures, and had like different EDM stages everywhere and
Wow.
confetti. It was just
Wow.
insane. And then we have summer break, and me and my friend fly to Hawaii, and we're
Nice.
just so on top of the world. It was 4th of July. They had Floatilla or Floatpalooza or something,
Yeah.
and everyone gets on floats and parties in the ocean. And that day there was a rip, and we all got taken out like a mile or 2 miles off the shore. All of us on floats, like
no.
100 people on floats.
That's crazy.
And the Coast Guard's just ripping back and forth with jet skis,
No
rescuing
shit.
people.
Wow.
This is in Hawaii?
He is in Hawaii.
I bet you guys were on the news.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Probably,
I
yeah.
bet
I
you
bet
were
it
on the
was like a
local
local
news.
story for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
It was wild.
Were you freaking out?
Well,
there's so many
we
Nah,
were,
he's
people.
a Florida
right?
kid. He's like, this is cool.
not
Yeah.
thinking straight.
Yeah.
No, you were having fun.
Yeah.
And I think when there's so many people in a situation like that, you're like, okay, they're gonna find us. There's so many of us. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
They
and
probably
you know,
watched it
they
happen.
were watching. Like they
Yeah.
had set
Yeah.
up a perimeter of jet skis, and if you floated past them, you were like
oh
pushed
my
back.
gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah, we were being
Wow.
watched, which was good. And there were some like little sailboats and stuff, so we felt pretty safe. But yeah, I mean, you could not swim back. You could not get back.
No.
You had to be rescued.
Yeah.
No. So, just totally different question about Elon. Was he though a good like boss? Would you say? Like, does he take care of his people?
So I never had a direct interaction with him, but I think he's obviously very efficient at what he does.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of that isn't based on people's feelings.
Right.
I think it's probably more based on just progress. So I wouldn't be a good person to ask if he's a good boss, but he's accomplished a ton.
Well, yeah,
He's-
yeah. And you said you guys had like a coffee bar and you had food. Like he
Oh,
set,
yeah.
set up a good work
yeah, it was a nice
environment.
work. Yeah,
He won.
I mean, he
guys.
threw crazy parties,
Yeah.
and we had great food, and
Yeah, took care
Yeah.
of his
It's
people.
a great answer you gave because he doesn't. It's about progress
yeah,
and the food and the restaurants. It's to keep people around. He doesn't want you going home. That's what's interesting about the interns. 50 hours, no more, no less. Very prescribed. But I bet the FTEs, did they ever? What were their? They had no limit, right? It was
yeah, they're there all
Yeah.
the time.
7 days a week, probably.
Yeah,
That's their life.
when it's it depends. They have slow seasons and fast seasons. When you have to be there, there's zero excuses.
Yeah.
And when you have to get something done, there's zero excuses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So you're an adrenaline junkie besides skydiving and climbing up these towers.
So yeah, I skydived in Hawaii. That was the point
Yeah.
of that, where they
Yeah.
filmed Jurassic Park. So I was on
Oh,
top
that's
of
so
the world.
cool.
It was insane.
That is
That
so-
year is like a movie.
Yeah. I can't imagine skydiving either. Have you done anything else that's crazy? Like not crazy, but adrenaline.
Skydiving's definitely the craziest thing I've done. Yeah, by far.
What's it like when you
I-
jump out of that plane?
So the Will Smith video does a really good job explaining it. It's like you're so scared the whole that I remember the night before just having like dreams about it, like just really being freaked out in the day, waking up like, oh my God, we're jumping out of a plane today.
Yeah.
And I was literally scared, like not really scared of heights, but I'd get like clammy in planes and didn't love heights.
Right.
The idea of skydiving was like, I will never do that.
Yeah.
But I was at a point in my life where it was just like fake reality. So let's go skydiving. And
I'm in that camp. I won't do it.
yeah, I mean, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel today, especially after doing it. But, you know, you're so nervous. And then you get up there and the guide the whole time, didn't love this, was just cracking jokes about God. And, you know, you're praying to God.
Yes.
You're like,
yes.
please keep me safe.
Yeah.
And he's just cracking jokes that like they were funny, but not really.
It's almost
Right.
like shut the fuck up.
It was like,
Yeah.
dude, you're going to get us killed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, you guys ready? Jump. And door opens and you're just up there. And you're looking out the window the whole time. You're like, okay, I could jump from here. Okay, I could jump from here. Can we really even jump from here? Like, can we
Oh my
survive? Can we
gosh.
breathe if they open the door? And we were at, I think, 13,500 feet. And you look down and it's like, how is this even real? Like, how is this even possible? And you jump, and my instructor was too busy cracking jokes. He didn't tell me that you have to look up. If you look down, the wind suffocates you.
Oh,
If you looked
Oh.
up, you can breathe. I didn't know that. So I'm looking down, and I'm like choking. And I fell for probably 20 seconds. And I remember, I also had a photographer, so there's some pretty funny footage. And I remember thinking, if I don't take a breath right now, I'm going to pass out. Like I was suffocating.
Yeah.
And somehow at that moment, I always get lucky. I got a breath, and then it was just, you don't even feel like you're falling.
Really?
You're just on like a cushion of air. You're just like, this is sick.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were able to be present.
Oh yeah,
You didn't like black out. You can
I
remember.
almost
it.
did. But
Yeah.
yeah. No, as soon as I was able to get air, I was just like not scared at all. And that's kind of what Will Smith says is
Yeah.
like the greatest things are on the other side of fear.
How long do you drop for before you pull your parachute?
I couldn't tell you, but probably about a minute 30.
Oh, wow.
And did you have
It was a
someone?
drop, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It's a
geez.
drop.
Yeah. Someone's attached. You're with
Yeah.
someone, right? Like
Yeah, I had
tandem.
someone.
Oh,
on
you
my
were?
back.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And then once the chute opens, is it a jar? Is it jarring?
Yeah, so that's kind of like the moment of faith. That's where everything always goes wrong. So the chute opens, and then you're still strangely high in the air. And you know, there's nothing underneath you. You're just kind of like, feels like someone's got you on a hanger and is just dangling you up in the
Yeah,
air,
yeah.
and you're
Oh my
just swinging around.
gosh.
And then he was pulling on the handles, and he's like, here, you pull here to turn, you pull here to turn. And he's like, you wanna drop a little bit? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And he pulls really tight, and we spin, and then we just fall like a couple hundred feet.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
remember we landed, and I'm like, oh my God, that was so fun. Let's go like right now again. I almost did it right there
Oh my
again.
gosh. Have you
That's
done
cool.
it again since?
No,
And
Maybe-
do you think you would again?
maybe for my wedding.
Now, is your fiance into it?
She would do it with me,
Okay.
hesitantly, but
Yeah?
she said she would do it with me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, okay,
That's
so you
wild.
do the year at NASA. Did you see rockets go?
All the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been so close to rocket launches. They're really cool up close. Yeah.
I mean, I imagine that the things you saw, you just really can't describe to people. You absolutely have to be there to.
Yeah, like the VAB where they built the space shuttle. You know, it's like a 400-foot building. It has its own weather inside it, and
Its own weather.
yeah, it can have like rain in there. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it can get enough condensation at the top that it rains in there.
Is it so they can test things in that weather?
No, they
though?
don't. They don't want that. It's just that big. that it
That it gets its own weather.
That's what they say. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but that's what they say.
Now,
What a
growing up in
trip.
Florida, did you have a fascination towards NASA at all? Because I know a lot of kids do. We can see rockets on a clear day from here sometimes.
You know what's crazy is they didn't. And me and my fiance were talking about this on the way up. When I was a kid, I had a baseball wallpaper in my bedroom, and my brother had a space wallpaper in his bedroom. And I would always go to his bedroom, and I remember looking at Saturn and thinking it was so cool.
Mm.
But no, I never really thought about aerospace till Embry Riddle sent me that pamphlet. I was like, oh, that looks
It was
fun.
a challenging thing. You were like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So after NASA, was it just a 1-year stint? Did you know it was only going to be 1 year?
I didn't. I knew I didn't want to be there too long. As a government job, the pay is not great. So I got a invitation to interview at L3 Harris from a friend that was working there, and they offered like a 30% bump. And it was back in the industry where it was a little more fast paced. NASA's pretty relaxed, totally different culture. And I wanted something challenging.
Yeah.
So I took it. And then I was at L3 Harris designing hardware for satellites for, we did things for Comcast and Space Force and different clients.
And was
Cool.
that in Orlando as well?
That was in Melbourne.
Okay. So same area.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Did you move to Melbourne?
I did. So I moved to Melbourne. I got a place. And then that week that I joined the job, COVID hit.
Oh.
And everyone left the office. I was in Melbourne for 1 week.
So you could have stayed where you were.
I could have stayed where I was, but everything happens for a reason. And I was like, I was in Melbourne. I never got to meet anyone. I'm just by myself. I don't even have to go in the office. I'm like, what am I doing here? And my fiance, then girlfriend, was like 20 minutes north of Boga in Boynton.
Mm-hmm.
So she had moved.
She moved here
She moved here.
to work
she
at the
from here?
Breakers. No, she's from New Hampshire,
Okay.
Bedford, New
okay.
Hampshire.
Did
Cool.
she come down from New Hampshire to go to UCF?
She did.
Okay. So
Yep.
she came here to go to school and then stayed.
Yep, she started at FAU actually.
Oh,
and
wow.
then did 2 years here and then went to UCF.
Okay. And she likes Florida.
Yeah, she loves Florida.
Because New Hampshire's beautiful.
It's really cool. Yeah, we go visit all the time.
It's cold.
Yeah. In the winter, it's
Yeah.
a bit much. But the summers and the fall, please.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Have you done the fall? Have you gone up there with
we've
the
gone up
leaves?
plenty of times. We've seen foliage. We've done snowboarding up there. We've done
Oh, cool.
ATVing up there.
That's nice.
Boat days up there.
She
Does
has
she
her
still have family up there?
Yep,
Yeah, cool.
yep. So
Her
we do
parents
Christmas
up
up
there?
there.
Yeah. Oh, that's not. Oh, so you get like a real Christmas, like
Yeah.
the cold weather and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
cool.
Like a
Yeah.
Hallmark Christmas.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. So she moved down here and you're in Melbourne.
Yep. So after school, she got a job at the Breakers and moved to Boynton.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at NASA, and we would go back and forth long distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit, and I would just go see her, and then I stayed with her, and then I ended up basically moving in because COVID wasn't going away. We didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During COVID, it was like, how long is this gonna be? Is it gonna be a
Yeah.
week, a day, a month, a
Yeah.
year? I ended up moving in with her and her roommates, and we ended up living together so quickly because of that.
Okay.
Which I think was really great for our relationship.
Yeah. I advise anyone who's going to get married to live together for at least a year.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's so important. You really learn everything. So it's a safety net. It's like, okay, if we can do this, we need to test this out before
Yeah,
we commit.
It's a
the rest.
must.
It's a must. It really is.
It's interesting. You're saying
out.
it's a must. That's great advice, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
I've told all the kids.
Yeah.
That you have to do that.
We did.
Yeah, because you don't know the other person's habits, and
Yeah.
and you have to be okay with living with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you
Totally.
guys had a pet together yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm excited for that. Maybe next year.
Yeah, yeah. For sure. Did you have pets growing up?
I had cats. She had a
Okay.
dog.
Okay.
I love dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dogs are pretty cool.
They are cool. We have 3 dogs.
I want a dog pad.
Yeah. Is there a certain dog you want?
I think gold. I wanted something super aggressive that I could train, like a German Shepherd.
Yep.
But that doesn't seem like a great idea. So I think we'll go for a golden.
We actually have a German Shepherd, and he's only aggressive if he feels he needs to be,
Hmm.
but they're so smart. He's so smart that he's got a very good gauge. So they're not nearly as, say, volatile as you might think.
Yeah, he's also a rescue, so he's on 100% German
Yeah.
Shepherd. You
I'd
know,
love to meet him.
yeah, Floyd, we'll let him out
We'll pull
before
them
we
out.
go. Yeah,
They go nuts because we have 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could pick one of the other 2. I
Yeah.
won't give up my
one
my
of
Floyd,
them, one of them's a Basset Dachshund mix, and she just barks like
Yeah.
at people. So it's like
she's talking.
it's a lot. And you saw the little one. We rescued her from Puerto Rico.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
I love that you guys rescued them.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my
Yeah.
things. Like my kids aren't allowed to buy dogs; they have to rescue.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's so many dogs that are
Yeah,
out in shelters that are just going to get killed.
and you can get
It's so sad.
Yeah, it's the
you can
thing to
get
do.
breeds. You can get breeds.
Yeah.
You can rescue. Every breed has a rescue. So like golden retriever, you could contact the golden retriever rescue, and people get puppies. From
That's what
there.
we'll have to do.
Yeah, and any like it's amazing. People think you can't get a breed, but you can rescue breeds for sure. But
Our neighbor,
yeah.
she walks a dog that he looks like a purebred German Shepherd that
does.
she rescued.
oh, there's tons of shepherds that need rescued. But ours is a black German Shepherd. Have you ever seen a black German Shepherd?
Is that like the standard police dog?
Kind
Pretty
of.
much,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what he. But he has something else in him though.
I know so many dogs down here at Pitt.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
sure there's
I'm
something
sure.
in there.
Yeah.
He looks though just like a black German
I
Shepherd.
like pits. I lived with a pit my sophomore year.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
sweet dogs.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, unless
Really
they've been
sweet.
trained, they're very sweet. Like that's their natural temperament.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember my mom was really worried about me. She's like, "Don't sleep with it. It's too close to
Yeah.
your face.
Yes.
It's gonna eat you while you're sleeping."
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Meanwhile,
that could
just
be any
wants its
dog.
belly rubbed.
That could be any dog. A dog
Yeah.
bit Nathan once, and it was like this big. It was a foot.
Oh, it
big.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little,
people
little
get-
dogs especially. So, but that'll be cool when you guys do
Yeah.
that.
I'm
Get a
excited.
dog.
Hopefully
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, for sure. So, when everything came to an end at NASA, what was your next step?
It was L3 Harris where
Oh
I
yeah,
worked.
yeah. You already said that. Okay, so then how long were you there?
I worked there for 1 or 2 years.
And you were living down
I think
here,
2 years.
So-
Remote, fully remote. Yeah.
down here, living with her and her roommates.
Yep. So as COVID started to end, they started saying, people have to come back to work. It was
Yeah.
a big struggle to get people to come back to work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So I fought that pretty hard, and I would go up every 2 weeks or every week. I was going up, I think 2 days a week. So one night, so I'd drive up like Wednesday morning and sleep there at a place that's been like $60 a night. Super, super dirty and uncomfortable. Awful.
So you
And then
hadn't
go back
committed
to
to, a
work.
lease when you first moved to Melbourne. You hadn't. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
That's huge.
I think I was in for a month. It was like a month thing.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had left a lease in Melbourne and moved down here. So that's good. That you didn't have to do that.
Yeah. No, just 1 month. Because I never really want. It's just not my type of place.
Yeah.
I get why people like Melbourne, but I like a lot of stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to move there, and they just kept trying to bring me back there. And eventually, one day they were like, so I started Chapie, and Chapie had already had a few good years, and they were like, you have to move back here permanently. That was like a major decision point in my life, and I was like, sorry, but I'm not moving back.
So you let
I
that
quit.
job go.
I quit. Yeah,
So did you start Chappie during COVID?
I did.
And can you explain to our listeners what Chappie is?
Sure. So Chapie is a vacuum insulated container that prevents all your cosmetics from melting. And we have 5 different sizes. Our most popular is the Chapie OG that prevents lip balm from melting. And it
I'm going to
goes on
swing
your...
to me for a second. That's what this one is, right?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
the OG.
Yeah.
And then we have a slightly larger size, the Plus, which is for lipstick. And then we have the Max, which you can fit a bunch of stuff in. Excuse me. And a Pro and a Tin for pretty much everything. Deodorant, phones. If you're on the boat, you don't want your phone getting wet or hot. So that exploded. Yeah,
That's amazing. So how did you think of this idea? What triggered it?
actually didn't. My first friend from Boca High in my robotics class, he knew I had been inventing for so long. and I was working at Harris, and he calls me up one day. He's like, "Hey, some girl at dinner said there should be a Yeti for lip balm." First thing I thought was that's stupid, and I told my girlfriend at the time about it, and she was like, "You have to do that. You have to. You have to. You have to make it." And then she told her friend Alec, and he called me. He's like, "You have to do it. You have to do it. I have to do it." So I 3D printed a mock-up of it, and I went on TikTok and talked about it, and it got 100,000 views
Wow.
overnight.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it blew up. So I was like, "Oh my god!"
There you go.
And I had all that experience with the vape and all the other stupid things that I tried.
Yeah.
That I knew exactly what to do right after that, and launched it into a pre-sale.
Amazing.
You know,
So how did you figure out what you needed to make it out of so things won't melt?
Well, the idea was always vacuum insulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea that was pitched to me. So I just looked for a manufacturer who makes water bottles and said, "Can you make a smaller one?"
Interesting. Okay. Sorry, you were gonna ask a question.
no, I was going to say we were talking a little bit about this, and I'm not the biggest chapstick guy, but so many times, and we'd be out on like the lacrosse field,
Yeah.
and your lips start to get chapped. I would bring it, and it's this melted mess, and that's the problem this solves. Right? If you throw your chapstick in here, you don't get that melted mess.
Oh,
So
and there's so many uses: the boat, the beach, the pool.
Yeah. But it's like perfect for here in Florida. But now as we enter summer in other parts of the country,
and not just Florida, other like there's places that are also hot year round, but then everyone in the summer. No, and I love the deodorant. That's also an issue.
Yeah, for gym bags and stuff.
Yeah.
When people go to the gym and then come back to their car in the summer and their deodorant's just liquid.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also phones. You're right.
Yep.
Because if your phone will get that thing where it's overheated and it like won't let you use it.
Medications too, like people put their epipens in the pros.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So when did that really? What year was that when that really started taking off? When Chapie started taking off?
So I launched the pre-sale on my birthday, March 29th, 2021.
Okay.
And it was pretty much just a TikTok as a Facebook ad and a really rough Shopify website with some 3D modeled pictures of it. I was like, let's see if we can sell any.
Yeah.
And they were selling. So I put it into production, and it didn't go as planned. I got scammed. Someone, I guess, hacked the manufacturer's email and pretended to be the manufacturer. This was after like months of talking.
No.
And
were you talking with the hacker, do you think? Or were you talking with someone and then it became the hacker?
They like changed the email by one letter. And in the middle of talking through emails, I didn't notice. It was like instead of manufacturer@gmail.com, it was manufacturer, maybe like with the A and U.
With two E's or something. Yeah.
And so they sent me the wire info, and I sent the pre-order money. And bye-bye. I was like, so guys, how's it going? And they're like, we're working on it. And I'm like, a few weeks later, hey guys, how's it going? We're working on it. A few weeks later, guys, is there any progress? Send me some photos or something. We're working on it. It's going to come. Give us a few weeks. A few weeks later, guys, what is going on? And then I think they just stopped answering. And that's when I realized the letters were switched at some point in my conversation, like a month or two ago. They were answering all. So what would they would do? They would receive my email, send it to the manufacturer, have the manufacturer respond. They made a fake email on me too.
Oh.
Have the manufacturer respond, send it back to me. So I was able to communicate with them through the design process, and it wasn't even them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
do you have any idea of the country of origin of the hackers?
No. Part of me thinks maybe it was a factory pulling a fast one on me. We produce in China.
Yeah.
So it's anyone's guess.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't. It probably was a hacker, and they could be from anywhere.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how incredibly disheartening.
Oh my God, it was horrible. So I remember I was at a fork in the road, and it was either invest my life savings that I built up through NASA and Alter Harris, only a year or two, so not much, but it was everything I had, or return the pre-sale money and lose everything I have anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I filed a report with the FBI, the FTC, the bank, the intermediary bank, the Chinese bank, the Chinese FBI, whatever that was. I filed like so many reports. I was like, I'm gonna use my own money. So I put out like 1,000 requests. I sent my design to every manufacturer in the world. I was like, can anyone make this? And a bunch of people were like, I remember then I got paired with a new manufacturer. They're like, we can make it. We can make it. They gave me a quote, and then they couldn't make it. They were like, we can't bend the metal this tight because Chapie's so small. It has manufacturing issues. So the bend radius on the metal makes the metal crack.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't make it. And like
I'm
9
going to
months
me again
went
while
by.
you're talking.
What was
Yeah.
that?
I'm going to me while you're talking.
Yeah, the little chingy chingy that you can
I
hear.
mean, if you
in the
look on
mic,
your
it's from
website,
the Chapie ring.
it's like perfectly sized for a chapstick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is tight. That's interesting. So trying to bend it, it
Trying
starts
to bend
crack.
it. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
So this manufacturer finally reached out to me and was like, we can make it. And I was like, okay, how long for a sample? And I told them my story. And they were like, we're going to just send you a sample in 2 weeks for free. 2 weeks later, I had a sample.
Wow.
So I was able to tell customers 9 months later that they were going to ship, and we delivered, which was awesome.
So you didn't do like a Kickstarter, but you just did pre-sales on your website.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I did a Kickstarter, I probably wouldn't have got the money.
Yeah.
So how were people about waiting the 9 months?
They were mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like,
Did you explain to
this is
them
a
what
chapstick
happened?
holder. What is go? Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Many people, many customers. We love all of them, but they have high expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
let's keep in mind during COVID, supply chain issues impacted the entire world. So
Yeah.
starting it, you have this great idea. You get screwed by the one manufacturer. When did you say get that second round with the manufacturer said they could do it, and then actually sending you the sample? Was it
It's like 6 months later after the pre-sale launched. So like
And-
September,
like 2021 or something?
end of
September
2021.
2021
Yeah.
around.
Okay. Yeah.
When I launched in March. It was bad. I felt terrible. And if I sent the money to another manufacturer
Oh.
for a sample and they scam me again,
Yeah.
I'd be out my savings and all the pre-sale money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd have a bunch of people that paid me with no product.
So
Yeah.
is this the same manufacturer you still use?
Yep.
Yeah.
Really, really, really nice person. To this day will do everything they can to make sure Chapie's successful.
That's
And
wonderful.
we probably wouldn't be around without them.
I mean, that's the key, right? That's creating a team, a strong team, and your manufacturer is part of that team.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, she helped us develop the cooler too, which was kind of like, after Chapie got some traction, I was like, okay, I want to do something for me. Like, how can I invent something that I would really like?
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 2 years designing this cooler here, and she helped with the manufacturing with it.
Why don't you pick it up? So
You've
we
got
can
to
get
see
in
the cooler.
yeah, the
I went
cooler.
online. I was checking it out. That thing
So-
is cool.
How
This
can
is
we?
Coolio. It's going to be rebranded to TERA very soon, but it floats.
You know what? Throw it to me.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
I have
let's
a
get it.
better angle.
Oh,
It's heavy, sir.
okay.
Yeah.
All
There we
right.
go.
That
That's
is
much
so
better.
cool.
It's got the
Yeah.
speaker in it.
So it's called Coolio.
Is that why
It's
it was
called
so heavy?
Coolio.
So here's the speaker, right?
Yeah, the speaker compartment's up top.
And
so
you can put your iPhone there, I think, right?
you can charge through inductive charging on that battery. Yeah, that comes
Wow.
with it. And the
Okay.
side straps carry towels. The whole thing floats, which is my favorite feature.
So it floats.
Yeah, so you can take it in the water on a boat day
And
and
just
play
have it-
music and swim out to like an island and have all your cold drinks with you.
So
So-
the video on your website, where's that filmed at? It looks like it's Lake Boca. Probably
We have a lot of
Miami.
videos. Which one was it? A boat day?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, most of the boat day footage is from Miami.
I think it was
Mm.
floating around in the water.
Yeah, probably Miami.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So the speaker's waterproof.
The speaker, that's a JBL. It's mostly waterproof. We also sell a waterproof speaker that's an add-on.
But you can float it with the speaker.
Yeah,
JBL, that's a great speaker.
it's a great speaker. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfectly sized. So we didn't want to put a speaker built in, because a lot of people have their own speakers that they like.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So why charge them for a speaker, and then if it gets wet
Nice and
and it
insulated.
breaks,
Oh, so
Yeah.
they order it, and then if they want the speaker, you put the speaker.
they can add
Add
the
the
speaker, or
speaker.
you can use your own.
So or you can put your own speaker in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Am I doing
okay.
it justice here by showing it this way, or
You sure? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. And then those are cup holders,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
and
Okay.
it floats? That's what I noticed. The one
So you can put all
video.
your food in there,
Yeah.
everything. That would be great for
It's-
moms. If you're listening, moms, would be a great thing. If you take your kids out in the tubes and on the things they jump on, and you could bring this and bring all the food for the toddlers, the snack food for your kids. That's huge.
I love it.
Yeah.
I use it every single time I go to the beach. I mean, really, what was first, it was I didn't know it floated when I first designed it.
it's funny.
I just wanted a really great beach bag that had everything I needed when I
Yep.
walked to the beach, because I used to be able to walk to the beach when we lived up in Boynton.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I always forget a speaker. My phone's always dead. I always want to go for a walk on the beach, but I'm scared to leave my valuables. And I always want cold drinks, but they get warm. So let me build everything into
There you
one.
go.
It even has a bottle opener, right?
Yep, it's
Yeah.
got a bottle opener. There's a lock on the top, so that's dry storage up top.
Up here.
Yep, and you can lock your phone and stuff in there.
So you're saying
So
this is dry storage up here?
Yeah, you can open up that zipper and kind of peel that open.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep,
So there's a phone in there.
that's mine. Yeah.
So like you're saying, if it was say you and your fiance or anyone, if someone's by themselves, or if like parents want to go out in the water with their kids, you could put everything in here and just bring the cooler with you.
Yep,
Yeah, that's smart.
and the towels on the side.
And the towel. Yeah, because there's so many times we've done it where we've gone into the water, and every 2 minutes I'm looking to see, is our bag still there? And, and even on my
Oh.
local beach.
I wasn't even.
Yeah,
I didn't piece
you
that
can
together.
just bring this with
You
you.
bring the cooler with you.
Yeah, you can.
with all your
You're
stuff.
not going to lose all your shit from some jerk walking by.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
and you can still be enjoying the water, but your stuff is there, and you don't have that anxiety, because I know other moms are
hate
like
it.
this. You're always looking, is it still there?
Yeah.
Is it,
Yeah.
you can never totally relax. So that would just be like, you could just be present. It allows you to
100%.
be. Yeah, speaking as a mom, that's huge.
You could actually probably hug it and help.
You
Float.
actually can.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
You can use it. I mean, not Coast Guard approved, but you
Yeah,
can use
right.
it as a flotation device.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the kids could be holding on to that.
100%. Yeah, I've
Oh,
done
this
that
is
multiple times.
Brilliant. This is brilliant.
Now, how
I
do
love
you,
it.
How do you design this? How do you get this from idea to market? Like,
So
that's the big leap, I think.
100%. Yeah, and it's not easy, and it's been a learning lesson. And this is going to be our first summer where we're starting to see some traction, where it's like starting to pay off, because it's until this summer, and I've been working on this, I guess, for 3 years now. It's been not good, not fun. The product's always been amazing, but the business element has been really tough. So I started off with an AI design. I was like, asked ChatGPT, I was like, make a futuristic speaker or futuristic backpack cooler that has a speaker and cup holders and battery in it. And it came out with like this design. And I tried to copy exactly that. And I got my first version, and it was terrible because it wasn't thought through practically. Like, the speaker was right above the cup holder, so you had to like fiddle your cup in there. And then when you wanted to pull it out, you'd spill it, and the sound wouldn't play through the mesh very well. It wasn't the right mesh. And it did another iteration. There's always something wrong. And this went on for a year. I made, I think, 5 or 6 versions.
Wow.
So this is the final design that eventually, it's still, there's always something to improve. But kind of the lesson from SpaceX is like, if it's good enough, let's use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good. I love where it ended up. And we have another version, a newer version coming out soon. This one actually has some of the upgrades where like the hardware would rust because it didn't have the right coating on it. So the lock and whatnot and the beer bottle opener wasn't the right material, didn't have the right coating. So we upgraded that. We upgraded the structure of the front. We're going to add drain holes into the dry storage because sometimes you'll be floating with it and you'll forget to zip it, which I've done a few times, water gets in and it's hard to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, just little improvements here
Yeah.
and there. We're
Yeah.
about to produce 1,400 new ones under the new brand called TERA.
No kidding.
So it's no longer going to be called Coolio?
I don't think so. So originally I had it under the Chapie brand.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, well, Chapie makes insulated products. What can I make that I'm passionate about? How about a cooler? How do I make the world's best cooler?
Mm-hmm.
And then I launched it to Chapie's 50,000 customers. And turns out people or coolers and chapsticks, there's not really any correlation. I had like 3 purchases out of 50,000 people.
Interesting.
I was like, something's not right. So then I broke it off onto its own website. And I'm like, Coolio's great for a cooler, but it's not great for a brand. Like,
Yeah.
I want to build an ecosystem around it of outdoor tech is kind of the vision that I had. And then I moved to Miami and I met this kid named George, who's now my partner on the cooler. And he's an incredible photographer and videographer and, can really create a really good brand identity. So he came up with the name TERA, and then we came up with the logo and we started selling the cooler under the TERA website where it's branded as like really awesome travel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like it. It fits the cooler a lot better than the
Yeah.
brand image of Chapie.
And how have you guys been doing on the TERA website?
It's starting to crush.
That's awesome.
It's starting to crush. And
That's
it's been, so when I first came out the cooler, I wanted to test the concept. So I did a pre-sale. I sold 100 in like May of 2022 or something, 23 maybe. This was last year. So 24 times a little squish. But yeah, 24 of May, we sold like 100. Then I stopped selling them and I wanted to just produce 500. And that took months. And by the time I had the coolers, it was like September. And if you go on Google Trends and you look at the search history for coolers, like April 17th, it starts going up. And then by September, it's over.
Yeah.
So it's stuck with 400 coolers and they're big. 400 of those takes up a lot of room and you got to pay storage fees.
Yeah.
And because the first design has the battery included in it from production.
Yeah.
When we shipped it from China to here, it's a hazardous good and shipping doubles.
Oh, wow.
So I lost a lot of money with the product. So a lot of learning lessons.
Yeah.
Switch.
Because is the battery something you could do here?
Yeah. So we're going to ship them separately here and put them together in the US now.
Okay.
And it'll literally save us like $20,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Big mistake.
But I mean, that's all part of learning, right?
Yeah.
As a business owner. So you got Chapie going and then you started designing this. And now this is going. So since you quit the job in Melbourne, have you only been working on Chapie and then TERA?
So, yep, it went Chapie, then TERA.
Okay.
And now I have 3 other things. I do way too much.
Oh,
I have 4 other things.
Is it all umbrellaed under Chapie, or you're saying TERA is totally separate?
Financially, yes, but operationally, no.
And the other 3 things are all separate too?
4 things now.
4 things are all separate.
All separate.
So what are the other things you're doing?
I'll just touch on all of them, and then you can tell me which one.
I'm over here fixing my stuff that cooler toss
Yeah.
threw me for a loop.
I know you've been like adjusting things for like
I'm
a good
muted
5
now,
minutes.
but I'm good now.
Or you can move the mic a little bit away from
At least
you.
it didn't hit the soundboard.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
It's pretty
Whoa.
close.
I mean, this thing's legit. The cooler is totally legit. Like people who are Yeti fans, it's got nothing on this cooler right here.
It's got nothing on it.
Nothing at
Yeah,
all. This is,
yeah.
The zippers are legit. The
quality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the quality and the
Move your mic.
yeah, it's good.
It's actually an interesting
yourself
story with
together.
the zippers because Yeti's famous for their very thick strip zippers. And so I have them in there because that's one of the things that I debated upgrading. I'm actually curious your guys' thoughts on this.
You have the zippers in there?
Yeah.
The new
The
zippers?
big, thick zippers, like the
Okay.
really thick ones
Okay.
that Yeti has.
Yeah.
So they have like a special factory that makes these special zippers because they have to be waterproof too. And so to add it would be $15.
For a retail price?
Just for the zipper, just to buy one zipper for one cooler, it's $15 to me.
Wow.
So I'd have to pass that on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
I think this zipper works pretty
This
well.
zipper's
Yeah.
legit. Are you saying it's not waterproof?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's just people like the really big zippers. Can I show you guys?
Yeah. Go get that. Go get the zipper.
I'll come back to me. I'll keep
Yeah.
talking about this thing while he's getting it.
You got yourself together now.
I'm back in action.
All right, let's see these zippers. Okay.
All right. So you're saying this is the new zipper.
This is
That
like
would
this
replace
is like
that.
it's like a Yeti zipper kind of.
Yeah.
Now what's adding the $15? Is it this little like the handle or?
I think it's just the construction of the zipper is expensive to make
Yeah, I
for it to be waterproof too.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
test this out.
Interesting. This is the first time we've been interactive with other things.
This zipper is completely fine.
I think so
Like,
too.
yeah,
it
this
would be
is a
the
good
cooler
zip-
zipper that I would
Oh,
replace.
the cooler zipper.
That was fine to
Oh.
open.
It's like,
All
is
right,
it
this-
worth $15 to have a really big zipper? I don't think so.
I don't know. I'll keep talking since we're doing some demo stuff.
Yeah, we're
here.
doing some. I
We're
just
doing some
zipped
product
up.
development real quick.
I just zipped up the cooler. I mean, this zipper is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably keep it and keep the cost cheaper.
It'd be more. It's more. I think it's more of an aesthetic thing.
I think it's an aesthetic thing too.
I think it's an aesthetic thing because it's that.
If you're watching
Yeah. I mean,
this,
this thing's-
let us know what you think.
Yeah.
This thing's cool too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. So
No.
if you could negotiate, a better price, it's probably
Yeah, if you're
fine,
if you're watching on YouTube, we're showing it.
You guys know any zipper manufacturers?
Yeah.
Lower
I
your
mean-
price, manufacturer.
I
Yeah,
could
right.
see.
Why is this $15?
I could see aesthetically this would be sharp.
It's sharper. I think it's definitely sharper.
I think aesthetically this could it not be offered as an upgraded option, or is it one of those things?
You have
Well,
to
it's
buy
a
the
whole other
stock.
cooler though.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, could you offer both options?
probably. Yeah,
Like have
we could have some with the upgraded zipper and see how it goes. Maybe we'll pre-sell it.
if it was me, I would do that.
But it's just not like people aren't buying it for the zipper,
No.
you know? So it's hard to
Yeah.
advertise. This
Yeah.
one's $15. It's just like, excuse me. I got this cooler and I love it. And the zipper is probably something no one ever talks about.
I've got an Igloo backpack cooler and I do like it. It's okay. But it's pretty vanilla.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm concerned about are the zippers.
Mhm.
I'm more concerned about the fit.
Mhm.
Does it fit? Does it leak? Does it keep my
100%.
stuff cool for a while? But I don't have
100%.
any of these extra, like the speaker stuff is cool. The iPhone stuff is cool. The charger, I was looking on your website. You can put your phone on there and it charges.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
that's
got
what-
the
that's
induction charger.
amazing.
It
That's
also has 4
amazing.
built-in cables for iPhone, micro USB.
Wow.
That stuff's huge. And again, I'm a lax dad guy out on the field, and then a South Florida going to the beach type of person. The cooler is awesome, especially for the lax field. You could throw that in your wagon because we all have wagons.
Yeah.
You could easily fit it in the wagon, and
Yeah.
the width of it is right. I wouldn't go any wider.
Yeah.
It would fit vertically in our wagon, and then everything's accessible. And
Well, and you could
You know,
play music on the
Tara
field.
has
Totally.
wagons now.
Like, Tara
What's
has
that?
wagons.
We have wagons.
Yeah,
Yeah, here we
wagons.
go, wagons.
There you
That's
go.
great. I'm telling you because for youth sports, which is just completely taken off travel sports and all that. Everyone has a wagon. Everyone's on the field. You could play music. Like
Yeah.
this is an interactive
Are
experience.
wagons on the come up? I feel like everyone has a wagon now.
I mean, I'll tell you, with youth sports, everyone
I
has a
have
wagon.
two.
And we
Yeah,
have two.
we
And,
have two.
and when we travel, even just the two of us, we went to St. Augustine a couple weekends ago. We bring the wagons because we put all of our stuff in it to take up to the hotel room. So you're not dealing with the carts at the hotel, or you're not
They're
schlepping.
great to have.
They're great.
Oh,
You just put
they're
everything
great.
in it.
Yeah.
So wagons are definitely.
I
a
feel like
thing.
they're on the rise.
Yeah.
I'd be
But with
curious to
youth
see your
sports-
wagon.
Yeah.
Because I definitely could give you feedback on the wagon in
Yeah.
the
We have
terms
two
of
wagons.
when you go to a lacrosse tournament in Orlando, you go to what's that place we go to? The field with it's the resort,
Omni.
the Omni. So the fields are like a half a mile from the hotel, and you got to go down a hill and it's a hike. you got to have a wagon.
Yep.
And the heavier duty, if the wider the tires, it helps.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
so I've got the
huge.
skinny ones and they're fine, but I get a little wagon envy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
you
I'm
need
already in,
the
so
thick thick tires are huge.
yeah.
I will say though, real quick, to go back to the zipper. I mean, I get it. I get the aesthetic appeal of it, but for that price point,
For $15.
that's crazy because you have
Yeah.
to push that onto the consumer,
Mm,
and it would be more than $15.
probably up to 25. Probably.
That's so you're adding $25 to the price of the cooler for a zipper. That
yeah.
makes no sense.
I can't justify it.
No.
But Yeti does. Their coolers are $300.
If so, I think it's something that I could see down the line you guys messing with.
I think so. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe we have a premium version. I like the idea that we could
a
have
premium version, because there are people that will buy the premium version of anything
100%.
because they just
Well,
want the best thing, the
that's-
best of
that's
whatever it
Yeti.
is.
Right?
100%.
Why the hell?
No, but I
we
mean-
don't own any Yeti. Well, we own
We do.
Yeti cups and
Yeah.
stuff, but no
Nathan
coolers.
owns a cooler, but what I mean is people will buy the premium option.
Mhm.
So if you have 4 sweatshirts and they're at 4 different price points, there's people that will always buy the highest price point.
For me, I'm not really a consumer. I don't really buy anything. So it's always, I would buy this. I'd buy
Yeah.
the cooler. I
Yeah,
really like
yeah.
the cooler. But it's always surprising to see people spend like $500 from a brand that they're just now hearing from.
Yeah.
Today we had a $500 order. They
That's
bought 2
awesome.
coolers, some travel products. I'm like, oh my goodness, like they must really like the brand. Like,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
that's got to feel
Yeah.
amazing.
Especially after now going through 2 rebrandings. We were
Yeah.
on the Chapie brand, then we went the Coolio brand, now the TERA brand.
Yeah.
To see that the brand cohesiveness and identity is starting to resonate with
Yeah.
customers is really rewarding.
That's cool. I like TERA. It kind of feels like an outdoorsy word.
yeah.
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 It makes me feel like camping or something.
It's like a terraform or Terra, I think like Earth.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think it means
100%.
Earth.
I
Might
could-
mean Earth.
I could see this at REI, being sold at REI.
I would hope we could get into wholesale. That's been a really, really big struggle with Chapie. It's been very difficult to get Chapie into a
Yeah,
wholesale.
Chapie as well.
for
All of that
retailers.
for the outdoor stores.
Why is that? What's the resistance or friction, the barriers?
So our dream store for Chapie would be CVS and Walgreens because they sell the
Mm.
most chapstick.
Yep.
And their products that they have up there are super well established brands. Like when
Yeah.
you think of front at checkout or the lip balm section, it's like Burt's Bees, EOS. By front of checkout, they have like chocolate bars and stuff. They have their thing the way they like it.
Yeah.
And my product would have to outsell one of those massive brands that
Yeah.
has massive appeal. And I just don't think that they see that. So I think we have more luck in niche retailers. Hair salons love Chapie. Surf shops love Chapie.
Yeah.
The cooler, maybe we could figure it out. But again, we'd be taking shelf space from Riddick and Yeti. So I think you really have to push your brand
Yeah.
identity so that
Yeah.
people go into the store and understand what you're selling
Yeah.
and what your brand is without seeing an ad.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever done pop-ups?
It's just, we probably should, but it's not a scalable thing. So I could do a pop up and sell some things, but it requires my time. So
Yeah.
maybe I hire someone. It's hard to scale in a pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask you. That's one of the questions I have for you. Really is, how are you scaling this? Or like, if you think in terms of what phase you're in terms of a life cycle, where would you say you are, and how do you scale all of this?
So Chapie it grew 20% last year and it grew 5x the year before. So it had like curve and now we're kind of like plateaued.
Yep.
The next play would be retail. That would be a big jump for us. Global expansion. Almost got scammed trying to do that.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, lots of scams. You guys got to watch out for the scammers. That's a crazy story.
What happened?
These guys told me they guaranteed me like $1 million in sales over the next 3 years, expanding to Hong Kong. Had a whole fake company, a bunch of fake employees based out of Israel, and
Oh my gosh.
they wanted $15K up front for their marketing, and then they were going to be my distributor in Asia and the Mediterranean. and I sent them samples, and they had a whole fake review, and the whole thing was fake. They work with other brands were fake, their websites were fake, their reviews were fake, their LinkedIn's were fake, everything was fake. But a whole facade, you would never know until you
Crazy.
dove into it. And yeah, they tried to get $15,000 from me, and I almost did it.
But you didn't.
Didn't.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to figure it out. How do you protect yourself from stuff like that?
You have to do your due diligence. People are sneaky and evil, and they want to harm you. And you just have to make sure that you don't allow that to happen, because it will happen.
They're predators.
Yeah, there's a lot of predators.
And
out
they
there.
spend all their time just obsessed with trying to
100%.
scam people.
It's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. How
Crazy.
could you do that to someone? Why do
Yeah.
you think you're entitled to my
Yeah.
money?
Yeah.
It's absolutely
You haven't
insane.
written any checks to anybody from Nigeria, right?
Not yet.
No, okay.
Not yet. Come close.
So what are the other brands you have going on?
So there's 4 different things that I do other than Chapie and TERA. One is an AI app. One is my brother's a doctor, so I'm helping him launch a supplement brand. Another one is a marketing agency. And another one is coaching Ecom.
So you're doing all those things right now?
Yes.
Do you want to say that? Do you want to plug any of those, or are those still in the beginning stages and you're not ready?
Some are further than others. So the Ecom thing, I'm working with one of the best in the industry. His name's Nathan, and he sells a course where we help you become successful in drop shipping. So I'm just starting that. I'll have my first students probably next week.
Wow.
Very excited for that.
Is that all virtual?
Yeah. Yeah. So he has a pre-recorded course, and then there's monthly coaching sessions.
Wow. What made you get into that?
Into that. Well, it seems like everyone that I help does better than me. I've had a friend that started a multi-million-dollar gym bag company that I helped him set up everything. One of my interns that I hired for a social media marketing company in college, because I tried that in college before I knew anything about marketing.
Yeah.
He became very, very successful in Amazon. So I think people that I help coach and work with do well, and it would be a fun side gig. I'm going to try it for a month and see how it goes, and hopefully I can help a little bit. I've heard, and I do a lot of ebooks, and I've heard you should always have a mentor and be a mentor, at least partially.
Yeah.
So this will be fun
Yeah.
for me, I think.
And very different than what you've been doing.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very different. Yeah, it feels like a step back, but I know that it's going to help develop me.
No, I think it's growth, and
Yeah.
it's all you're creating a well-rounded experience for yourself.
It should help with the marketing company too, just kind of keep establishing myself as an expert in the field.
Yeah. So the marketing company, is this your marketing company?
Me and my friends. So the photographer from TERA and a good friend of mine from Tampa that now lives in Miami. We all live in Miami. We all have great skills that businesses really need. So we've just kind of worked together. It's kind of a side project, but anyone who needs help, we're here to help. And we have a really, really strong team.
What's the name of the company?
Specularis.
Specularis.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that Jacob's talking about, we're going to put the links to in the description. You'll be able to find
Awesome.
everything. Yeah.
That'll be
So
great.
yeah. So Specularis is the marketing company.
And then Go Mode AI. There's the 2 biggest things. Well, before I do that, let me talk about my brother's thing. Very excited about his thing. He's a doctor, but he's really, really good on camera. And he gets huge audiences on TikTok Live. And he wanted to formulate a pill that helps people that he talks to on live. Like, everyone complains about pain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he came up with an all-natural formulation for a supplement. It's called True Motion. And we just put it into production, and we'll be selling very soon.
True Motion is it for pain? Is it?
It's for pain and joints arthritis. I'm not on the medical side.
Yeah. But for people listening, neither are they. So to
Yeah.
sum it up, it's to help with pain with your joints,
Yes.
muscle aches and pains, that type of stuff.
Yep.
Trying to think if I've come across his live, because what you're saying sounds familiar.
It's
to
very
me.
possible.
The same last name as you?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I feel like I maybe have. Just how you see them come
It's
up.
very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. Yeah.
Now I will.
He
I
helps
bet.
answer medical questions for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to really I'm going to pay
That's cool.
better attention. I'm going to
Yeah.
search him up actually.
Yeah.
So he's mainly on TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a performer. He's awesome at getting people's attention. I can't do that stuff. I'm not great on camera.
Well,
Yeah,
you're
Doing fine.
doing pretty good for yourself
Doing all right.
overall. And then what was the AI
Podcast
app?
is also a lot different than going on and being like,
This is
check
true.
this out.
Yes,
You know?
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is true. This is true.
It's tough for me.
Very true. So he's a salesman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
an entertainer and a salesman.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Sure. Go Mode. Go Mode
Go
is an
Mode.
AI app where it's going to be a marketplace for AI agents. So it's for entrepreneurs and startups that want to automate their tasks, especially solo founders. So it's like, I want to start a clothing brand, or I want to start literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell your goal to the AI. It'll help you drill down, why do you want to do it? What niche do you want to do it? How much do you want to make? How short of a time? I'll ask you some questions. I'll come up with a checklist for you. And then you'll be able to either do the task yourself or have Go Mode do the task for you through agentic AI.
Mm-hmm.
And will be a marketplace where we don't want to be in the race of developing different agents. We want to be the connection to people's agents. So there's a bunch of different companies working on really great agents for customer service, or really great agents for graphic design, or really great agents for outreach. We want to have all those plugged into our back end,
Mm-hmm.
and then hold a front end where we store your payment information, your ideal email for account sign up, your ideal password, your brand identity, your brand colors, how you like to speak with your customers, how big of risks you like to take. We want it to know you so that it can pass this information on to AI agents, and you don't have to like redescribe what you're doing every single time you have an AI agent.
Wow.
I think that could be like $1 billion idea,
Yeah.
but really, really hard to pull off.
And you guys are working on that right now?
Yeah, we have the app and desktop version created, and we just did interviews for our UX guy, and we have a really promising candidate to do like, really streamlined UX where you're not wondering how do I use this. It's just super intuitive.
Wow.
And we're going to launch.
How did you develop the app? Like, who did that? Did you guys?
My
or-
friend's dad. So the same
Okay.
kid, Gary, who gave me the idea of Chapie, this was his company that he's been working on with his dad
Interesting.
since college. It was called Atlas, and it was basically like task, like you write down stuff that you want to accomplish, and then as you accomplish it, you get like, it's called W's. It's like in-game tokens and rewards, and then it's a social network, so you can see which one of your friends is like super dialed and doing what they say they're gonna do. And then they had tried to make that work for a few years, and he asked me if I would come on board for marketing. And then we were talking about, building the ground from that, building the app from the ground up. And, now with AI, we don't have to make to-do lists anymore. We can have AI do it. So then we were like, all right, let's have AI make the perfect to-do list.
Wow.
And then we had all the tasks, and we're like, well, AI can do these tasks. And then we were like, okay, let's make it a marketplace. And so it's kind of been forming over time as we've been working together over the last month.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
So you have all these things going on, and you're able to, you're at a point in your life where you can devote your time to all these projects.
Yeah, no kids. It's my only thing that I do. I work, 12 to 14 hours every single day. Probably not every day, but at least 3 days a week. And I love it. It's stressful, but it's a lot of fun. I'm thinking about selling Chapie, to be honest.
Really?
Probably sell like 90% of it so that I can focus on the new brands and reinvest.
I mean, but how cool though that this is your job, is what you've created.
It was crazy. It's my dream, you know.
And you're 28?
29 now.
29.
As of March.
So before you're 30, you're able to support yourself off of what you've invented and created.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's amazing. It's a dream for many people, and that you've been able to accomplish this at such a young age is huge. I hope you've taken time to appreciate it.
No, I haven't. And I probably, I don't know if I never will. I try to, but I just, you know, I look up to Zuckerberg, Bezos, Elon.
You're just always challenging yourself.
Just like, why aren't I there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
Well-
probably what's part of your drive.
Yeah.
You know, you have insane drive, obviously.
I think it's a blessing and a curse for sure.
Right. I mean, you probably have to work on the balance of, do you reset? Do you have time every week where you don't touch anything of the business and you go touch grass basically and kind of reset?
I work out a lot every day. I do 5Ks. I do cold plunges every day.
Mm.
But I would say through all of that work is always on my mind.
Now, does your fiance help you balance?
She's a hard worker too. She works a lot as well. She
Okay.
works for the Ritz now. So she inspires me. I mean, she was getting her MBA up until she graduated like a few months ago. So
Wow.
she works really hard too. I mean, obviously when we go out, it's nice. I get away from it sometimes. I have a lot of fun, but it's pretty much always on my mind
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's probably
It's in my dreams,
an obsession.
my nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's-
you know what's interesting? Just listening to you, and I know people that are serial entrepreneurs. It makes sense for you to sell Chapie in some ways. You probably you started it, you built it. Maybe it's time to sell it, move on, and go to the next thing, because you're never going to stop thinking, right? So it's almost, and not that Chapie's boring in any way, but I'm this way where I get into something, I hyper focus on it. I can totally relate to what you're saying. And then I kind of get there and I'm ready to go to do something else.
100%.
And I can see where maybe that becomes your stick. You're a serial starter, incubator, developer, sell it type
Yep.
of, maybe, I don't know.
I think so, and I'm still finding out, what I'm doing because
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
Neither are we, and we're in
Yeah,
our
just
50s,
a heads up, that doesn't change.
I'm here.
There's no thing you get. There's no finish line, and there's no point you get. You're like, oh, I know everything now.
100%.
It never happens.
No.
That's what I hear. It's all about the journey, right?
It is.
And I do try to focus on that a
It
lot.
is. Yeah, and trying to recognize where you're at, because before you know it, you're 10 years later and you're like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What did I just do?
100%.
So it's taking those moments to take stock. It's important.
Yeah, it is, and it's something I need to get better at. Just something in me just always tells me it's not shit,
Yeah.
to be honest, for some reason.
And so is that a self-esteem thing, do you think? Or is it just that
Partially.
you have, so is it a belief in yourself or lack of?
It's just I guess from when I was really young, I kind of had like a death, like life is not real type of crisis. And I was just like, so what's the point of it? And I just want to make a huge impact for good. And I think that's probably what drives me. And if I feel like I'm not doing that, Chapie's affected a lot of people's lives, hopefully mostly in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
But, so there's a formula Elon talks about. It's how much good have you done and for how many people. If you do a little bit of good for a ton of people, that's great. If you do a lot of good for a little bit of people, that's great. So I guess I'm just always trying to find the way I can do the most good and be as useful as possible. And if I feel like I'm not doing that, it drives me insane.
So you're finding meaning of life through this
Yeah.
in some ways, and also self-worth.
Definitely.
And so, okay.
Yeah, I've never really been able to disconnect from that.
All right. So that, and then when you're not doing it, then you're kind of having to stop. You don't have that busyness in your brain, and you kind of have to be present, which might be more stressful.
It's always like a combination of things. So yeah, it, yeah, like I can detach a little bit, and that's always great. That always feels good, especially with good company.
Yeah.
You know, watching the Super Bowl. You know, there'll be some times, you know, at a theme park,
Right.
skydiving.
Yeah.
There are ways to detach, but yeah, it's partially finding meaning through it. It's partially because I'm just obsessed with building.
Mm-hmm.
I love building, and I've always had expensive taste. Like since I was a kid, my parents used to always tell me, "You have expensive taste. You're gonna be in trouble." We'd go to like Chili's. I'd want like the steak
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I know someone like that.
Yeah, Nathan does
Yeah.
that too. We could be at Denny's, you know, when he was like 15 for breakfast or something, he'd order the steak.
Yeah.
It
It
no
drives
matter
me
where we are.
crazy because I'm like, dude, at the steak, we're at Denny's. It's not going to be that good.
And it's a blessing and a curse because
Yeah.
the blessing is, I guess you get the things you like, but the curse is now you got to find a lifestyle that keeps up with what you
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so true. So, and you know what also may help you balance is, I don't know if you guys are planning on starting a family,
For sure.
but if you do, children have a way of doing that.
Oh, I bet.
They do.
Yeah, that's coming for sure.
Yeah. And they have a way of helping you get out of your own head because you have to, because it's all about them in a
Mhm.
way. Yeah, not that you lose yourself, but it just is a natural thing that happens and it kind of brings some balance.
I am nervous
So-
about it. I'm excited. I want to have like 10 kids.
Oh boy.
Um,
What does she think about that?
she doesn't love the idea. She says 3.
Yeah, that sounds more
3,
reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, I always tell people, I am a believer, I'm very spiritual. And so I tell people, God made you to be that child's parent. And so whatever you do is how it's meant to be because you're specially made to be that child's parent.
I love that.
And you have to trust that. You just have to trust that no one else can do what you're doing with that child except you.
Yeah,
And it'll come to you. And so whatever you do will be right. It'll be okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I also believe in God. I'm Jewish, but I believe overall in God, not so much in, you know, this is the only right way, but there's
Right.
definitely something more.
Yeah.
And that also helps with the feeling that like we only have this life and what we do right now is so important.
Right.
The thought that, you know, there could be something after, and hopefully there is.
Yeah.
And faith would make you say, yeah, there definitely is something after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So that takes that pressure off.
It does. I find faith to be a gift,
It
you know,
is.
and it's up to each person if they choose to use it or not. But I think it's sitting there. And I think psychologically, it's a huge outlet that people don't use. It really can relieve a lot of anxiety if you give it the opportunity.
Yeah, I try to get involved as I can. I try to pray a few times a week.
Yeah. I always tell my kids, just talk to God like he's your friend. Like just like
100%.
you would talk to a friend. There's no special thing you have to do. We're Catholic. We have all the rituals and you don't have to do all the rituals. Just got something to say. You just say it.
I
That's
bread
all it
this
is.
Passover. I feel so guilty.
Well, so, okay. You have a big thing coming up this summer, right? In July,
My
you're getting married, right?
September.
Oh, it's September.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I'm off by a month. Okay. So you have in the fall.
And he's like, what the hell
I
am
know.
I
He's
doing?
like, what am
I'm
I
like,
doing
what
in
am I
July?
doing in
I just
July?
totally threw you off. He's like, oh no, what am I doing in
My
July?
bachelor party.
Yeah. Okay. So how long have you guys been engaged?
We've been engaged for 2 years.
Okay. And do you want to share when you asked her?
It was July.
And
2 years ago.
what was
How'd that go down?
How'd that go
The
down?
story.
Yes. Everyone loves that story.
That is an awesome story. So, I told her I didn't want to get engaged for many years, and I told her family that too. And I remember we were in Canada celebrating, and I had to lie to all of them and say, "Yeah, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 years," just to throw them off
Yeah.
because I wanted it to be a surprise. And I flew to Europe for her birthday. We're in Barcelona having a blast, and in the morning we're supposed to fly to Ibiza. And I have someone in a car ready to pick us up, bring us to this cliff. It's like a very spiritual cliff where like all these amazing things have happened, so they say. And the guitarist to play our song, and a photographer,
Wow.
and a tent.
Wow.
So it's like 4:30 a.m. in Barcelona, and we wake up and we're packing our bags to get on the flight, and I get a text, "Hey, I got a flight, I can't make it." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Excuse me?"
Oh no.
I had a hotel picked out for us to celebrate, like a 5-star hotel that I was going to surprise her with.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wait, you had possession of the ring still, though, right?
I did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had the ring, but I had no transportation. I had no plan. And I had a hotel that I had to explain.
Oh my
A
gosh.
5-star hotel that was a surprise. So we land in Ibiza, and I'm texting them. I'm like, "Can you rent a car? Like, I'll pay for a rental. I'll pay for AAA, anything.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Like, how could you do that?
Yeah.
Crazy. So still crazy to say that happened. So get to the airport, and I'm on the phone with the hotel. I'm like, "Listen," because they're going to say congratulations. Our
Right,
room is
right.
decorated.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, "Listen, change of plans. We're coming. Remove everything from the room." I had like stuff set up in the room. Remove everything from the room.
Oh my goodness.
Make sure to tell the staff not to say anything. And so we check in, and I'm like, it's a birthday gift. It's like
Yeah.
a 2-week early birthday gift.
Yeah.
Or 2 days. And she was like, "Oh, awesome." And I send her to the spa. And meanwhile, I'm like calling people. I'm like, "Can we rent the restaurant? Can we do it on the cliff? Can we do it here? Like, how do we get a guitarist? I
Yeah.
need a photographer." End up getting the front desk to be my secret photographer,
Oh
renting
wow.
the rooftop of the bar. They gave me a really good deal. And they had the guitarist go up there. And I told her we had a reservation. And we go to dinner, and we walk up top. And this is like, honestly, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, in Ibiza. And the ocean is just split by two, like 200-foot cliffs on each side with the sunset
Wow.
coming down the middle.
Oh,
And it was perfect. I mean, talk about everything happens for a reason. It was
Yeah,
so
cool.
much better than the original plan.
mm-hmm.
And she was completely shocked.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That is the best. You got her.
I got her good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you guys called her family, I'm sure, and it was
We
all
FaceTimed
you
everyone.
FaceTimed everyone. Yeah, it's
freaking
exciting.
out. Yeah,
That's
it was
great.
You just pissed off a ton of men.
Yeah, I did. They
The
lost
bar
out.
has
Yeah.
been raised.
Yeah,
So,
you just set the new bar.
Where are you guys getting married?
Santorini.
Where?
Santorini.
Where is Santorini?
It's in Greece.
Okay, it was Greece.
Yeah,
That
cool.
was my first thing I wanted to say. So you're getting married in Greece.
Yep.
Santorini.
In the Mediterranean.
Wow.
It should be very pretty.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we have
What-
60 people coming out with us.
Lovely.
It's gonna be nuts.
That is lovely. And that's
That's
a
awesome.
perfect number of people.
I feel like it's perfect.
Yeah.
we wanted like 50, 60.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
65 at ours. We got married in Vegas.
Nice. We
Yeah.
almost did that.
Yeah, we did. We had the Golden Nugget Hotel, and they shut down the pool area, and we set it up. We had the wedding there and the reception. But we didn't want a huge wedding. We wanted it kind of intimate, and we had 65 people, and it was perfect.
It's perfect. I
It
feel
was
like
perfect.
it was nice.
It was like everyone you want there was there.
100%.
Yeah, and you got to spend time just being present and not greeting people all night and all that.
150 people. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah,
that's lovely.
there's no friends of friends of friends of friends.
Right,
You
yeah.
knew everybody.
What day?
That's cool.
Our anniversary's in September. That's why. I asked.
September 25th.
Okay, we're the 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Are you guys ready? Is everything planned, done?
No. The invitations themselves took like 3 hours. Not 3 hours, 3 days. Yeah, I put way too much time into that. And now we have so much planning to do.
Yeah.
There's so much to do. It's
Yeah.
especially for international. I mean, it's a lot. I guess it's probably the same here. I've never planned a wedding.
Yeah,
probably
it's a
about the
lot.
same.
It's a lot. How long are you guys going to be over there?
So we're doing 5 days in Santorini. Then we're taking a ferry to Mykonos, and then we might do Oktoberfest.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's awesome. And the weather over there is probably amazing in September, I would assume.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like low 80s,
Yeah, definitely in Greece. Maybe not Oktoberfest. It might be
colder.
It might be colder. Yeah, assuming you're going to Germany, I would assume.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be chilly.
Very exciting.
Got to bring a mix of clothes for sure.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. I'm so excited for you guys.
Tara,
Thank you.
Yeah.
right? Do you have any clothing in your Tara line for cooler weather?
We want to.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. We have the
Don't you have a jacket?
Yeah, we have the heated jacket.
Yeah.
That's how we started
Oh,
TERA.
okay.
Yeah.
Heated jacket.
It was cool. The Coolio and the cooler were separate, and then we were like, all right, let's try to drop ship something during winter because no coolers are selling during summer.
Yeah.
Smart.
So we tried a heated jacket, heated socks, heated scarf, heated vest, and we had some traction with the heated vest. The hand warmers were selling on Amazon. They were selling like 500,000 hand warmers a month,
Wow.
electric hand warmers. Normally, it's like the ones you
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
So they were ripping on Amazon. We tried to sell them. We couldn't sell any. Got a little bit of traction with the vest, but I mean, by then it was like February, so winter was over.
Yeah.
So are you done with that line, or do you still?
We're gonna bring it back. We're
Yeah.
gonna make improvements on all the products and
Yeah.
bring it back next winter and launch a lot earlier in season where people are buying winter gear. And we want to be a full outdoor company.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool.
It's fun.
And that's another thing
Yeah.
I could see with travel sports on the sidelines. Everyone wears vests.
Yeah.
I could see the heated. You should try to market some of this stuff to travel to youth sports, travel
100%.
parents.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
shot when
Yeah.
when we were shooting the heated vest. We were in Miami.
Oh my gosh.
Very
I'm
hard to
dying.
compete with
Yeah.
ads that are shot in the
Yeah.
snow.
Yeah.
But I went to. I've never felt so dumb in my life, to be honest. I went to the football stadium park there that they have, and I'm in a heated vest, a snow cap, like jeans. It is like 90 degrees out.
Oh my god.
Everyone's looking at me like I'm nuts.
Yeah.
And I have the vest turned on. So I'm really
no
getting
way.
hot,
Oh
and I'm
my-
on camera trying to sell this thing like
Yeah.
it's cold, and I'm just sweating.
How
That's
could you? I'm
hilarious.
sure you had sweat dripping.
Yes. Yeah, I do. It was tough. That was a tough thing to do. We're gonna have
Yeah.
to fly up north.
I was gonna say next time you visit her family,
Yeah.
just bring everything with you.
I ended up doing that like late February, so we'll have the content for next year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's good. Do you have any before I,
I
ask
did-
my
oh,
last
yeah, yeah.
question? Okay.
Just to go back, you mentioned you cold plunge every day. What are you using for a cold plunge? I'm about to do a DIY on
It's I use I go to it's at my gym.
it. Okay.
It's called Anatomy in
Okay.
South Beach, and they have 2 plunges. One's at 45 and one's at 35.
Okay.
He's obsessed.
Oh, they're awesome.
I was doing it religiously in the winter because I would just hop in the pool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was great. But then it's heated up. But actually, I think I'm going to do a DIY. I'm buying a chest freezer.
Yeah,
And I'm going to probably do that.
I've seen those
Yeah.
where they seal them up and use
Yeah.
them. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
sweet. I want one of those. When I get a house, I'm definitely gonna build one of
Yeah.
those.
He's as I said, as long as you make it look nice on the outside. You
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
build some like wood,
Put some
something.
sand.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to look like
A freezer.
yeah.
Well, one of the things that comes to mind is when I'm cold plunging, I'm with you that I never stop thinking. I never stop thinking. That's why I don't sleep well, because I just think, and it's not all bad. It's just I've got stuff on my mind.
For sure.
When I cold plunge, if it's cold enough, I get there. I can turn off the senses. Do you feel that at all? Or are you still
You know what's crazy
still
is
thinking.
like I compare the pain to the pain I go through in work, so it just
Mhm.
ties right back to work immediately. And I'm
Mm,
like, if I can
Interesting.
get through this pain, I can get through work pain. So I'm
okay.
still thinking about work.
You're still thinking.
Same with running. I'll be running and just dying.
Yeah.
And the thought process is if I can get through this, I can get through work.
So your
What-
brain is
what's
not
causing-
shutting down.
No.
No. No.
What's causing you the pain though at work? Like what? I work a lot.
It's horrific.
What's that?
It's horrific.
But what is it though? Like
I'll give you an example
yeah.
of how bad things can go. So I have to be careful with names and leave names out.
Yeah, of course.
So we sell seasonal chappies, and we have winter collections and holiday collections. And in December, peak season, a TV show reaches out and says, "Hey, we would love to have you for April." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." I say, "This is what I have in stock. This is my winter collection, and I won't have any like Easter or spring colors for April. Can you guys accept this?" And it's like ugly Christmas sweater, cotton can or candy cane and snowflakes and, all very, very Christmas winter stuff for April.
Yeah.
They say this. They save $60,000 worth of inventory that I don't sell during peak season for this. April comes around. We're about to air. Spent like 2 weeks building the site with the team. 2 days before, they're like, hey, these are Christmas colors. This is spring and Easter. We're canceling your sale.
Oh my gosh.
They cancel the sale. And now I'm stuck with $60,000 worth of winter stuff. And, a lot of these bulk purchases I take out loans for. So I'm carrying the interest now for a year because I can't sell it in spring.
Oh my gosh.
And to me, I was like, no, like, you're not doing this. We're going to figure it out. So I sent them an option for us to do our spring colors that I had coming in. So the show is April 14th. And then my spring colors were coming in like April 20th. Or I'm sorry, this is March. Right? Yeah, March. So the show is March 2nd. And my collection was supposed to come in like end of March. And I'm like, if I rush overnight ship it and spend an extra $2,500, I can get it here in time. They said yes. The show went on. So now I've lost half of my inventory for summer. Now I have to buy more inventory for summer, and I still have $60,000 worth of winter inventory.
My goodness.
This stuff, this is all on my birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm screwing up the dates bad. My birthday is March 29th. So the show was April 2nd. And the inventory was supposed to come in mid-April.
And you got it there by April 2nd?
Yeah, you asked how could work be that bad? My manufacturer tells me everything will be there the day of the sale. Day of the sale comes in. I have everything except for 3 colors. That is literally half of all orders.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, Ziv,
Yeah.
you told me you were sending everything. I can't ship orders if I don't have everything.
Yeah.
I'll have to refund half the sale. So then I have to tell the TV show that I don't have these orders, and I have to get a message approved for customers. I have to overnight ship another batch, spend another couple thousand, get that stuff over. Like, by the time this is all over, I'm going to break even and just still be out of inventory.
So
and
yeah.
So-
What you're describing is just the pure chaos of running a business and being an entrepreneur and having to deal with buyers and sellers and customers and the whole thing.
it's a lot.
I get it. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and that's why I run until my heart explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so much is also out of your control.
So, yes, for sure. But Jacko Williams has that book, Extreme Ownership. I love that book.
I've never heard
And
of that book.
and I mean, the moral of the story is there's nothing out of your control.
Oh, interesting.
Everything is your fault.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a Bezos line of thinking as well? Do you know? Because if you read anything about the early days of Amazon, his whole focus was the customer, no matter what, the customer. And he would do things where they wouldn't make money just to satisfy the customer. So he's playing that continuous long game, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I wish I need to become more customer focused. Sometimes I'm too focused on the business side. But yeah, I mean, the line of thinking is like, it doesn't matter what happens to you. There's always something you could have done. So in my situation, I could have confirmed with them, are you sure? Like, I could have, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want them to go back on it. But again, that's something I should have done maybe, because I should have anticipated that. And I should have, maybe had a packing list with my manufacturer where they could have checked off everything I told them to send, like there's always, and then it's also powerful because not only do you have to take ownership over everything, but you can also really, when you put things that seem out of your control, because it does seem, it's like I didn't do anything.
Right.
Everyone else is screwing me over.
Right.
But when you put things in that lens of everything is preventable, you can start to think about how you could have prevented it.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Carl Jung?
Mm-mm.
So he has a theory of the internal locus of control and the external locus of control. And the internal locus of control is where you are in control of your happiness, your reactions to life. and the external locus of control is everything else going around you. You react to whatever's going on around you, and that gauges your happiness and contentment in life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're talking about is, from if I'm understanding correctly, is the importance of having an internal locus of control
For sure.
and not reacting to this manufacturer and that TV show and all that, but figuring out, okay, I'm going to go inward and figure out off these tentacles, what could I have done?
What do I have?
What could I have done, or what can I do to control each of these things, each of these
100%.
situations? So
Well, you
even
can
though there's
start to-
sometimes there's things you just can't, no matter what you do, you
100%.
can't. But at least, like, you gave some examples.
You can start to figure out what you could have done.
Yeah. So I'm sure you learned from that.
Yeah. I mean, what is the lesson there? A few things. Yeah.
After a while, though, it's like, how many lessons, right?
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I got it. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't need more lessons.
Dude, on my birthday too. So
Oh man.
I mean, not only did that inventory get stuck, but I just lost all the profit and sales that would have been. So you almost times it by 2.
Yeah.
Because it's both the negative and I didn't get the positive. So the delta was like 140K on my birthday. I'm supposed to go to a birthday dinner. I had to text all my friends, "Hey guys, I'm like devastated." Honestly, I was devastated.
I'm
So,
sure.
A lot of
I'm
money.
Sure.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, and out of nowhere, and
Was
for
that
no
recent?
reason. Yeah, that was.
Was that just this past
my birthday was
March?
March 29th. Yeah,
Oh,
couple weeks
man.
ago.
a couple weeks ago.
That sucks.
Yeah, but the sale went on, and we made good profit.
There
We
you
pushed
go.
through.
Okay.
We made it through.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's
2 things early. That book there talks. That's the Carl Jung book that you're referencing right there.
yeah. The one at the end of the couch.
You've had some lessons, right? What would you say is your number 1 or 2 big ones that you've learned in your entrepreneurial days?
It's a good question. The biggest thing is faith. I think faith is so powerful. When you have faith that you'll figure it out, things will get better, you have potential, that you can do it, I think that changes everything. And I think when you start to lose that faith, that's when you start to lose control over where your life goes. So keeping the faith that you can figure it out is massive. And you got to hold on to that for dear life, because it's tested a lot.
Yeah.
And the other one kind of goes in line, is just never give up. Just no matter what, just keep pushing.
Mm-hmm. How do you hold on to continuing to believe in yourself and not care about what others think, and just continue focusing on your dream?
I just people have always been supportive. People always think it's cool and get inspired by it. So I've never been worried about that. And in terms of like getting myself out there on social media, I have not been as successful. I worry a lot about what people think in videos, mostly because they're up there pretty much forever, and then people just judge you.
Right.
And I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important not to care what people think.
Yeah. It's kind of letting go in a way of ego,
Yeah.
and knowing your intention of what you're putting out there is real and authentic, and coming from a good place. And so you're just going to put it out there, and whatever anyone decides to do with it is none of your business. It's just you're putting out there, and then it's theirs.
100%.
So it really has nothing to do with you anymore.
I like that.
And whatever they decide, they're just projecting from what's inside of themselves. So if they judge you, that's coming from their bad place, but it has nothing to do with you.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to keep that in mind.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with you. That's them.
I think I judge myself too. Like,
Well,
I see
yeah.
myself on video. I'm like, oh, I talk funny, or something. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's part of getting past that. That's
It's
part of
ego.
believing. It's
It's
ego,
ego.
and it's part of believing in yourself too. And it's part of your brand and the culture you're trying to create. It also needs you there to show up.
I know.
It needs you
That's
to
been
show
really
up.
hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially for Chapie, because it's like a female audience, and it's really a female product. And then
Yeah.
to have a guy come,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah. But
I'm not the right face for Chapie. For TERA, I'll probably get a little better at it.
yeah, I guess so. I think that I think you have it in you. I definitely think that you could sell this to women for sure, especially if you cover all different bases, like girls in their 20s that are going to Pilates or going to the gym or going to the beach, going on the boat. And then you have a whole group of moms. And that's the family, the way it ties into family.
100%.
So it's more, not seeing them as necessarily like females and relating to a female, but relating to where they're at in their lives and how Chapie can help them in this stage of their life. And that can be men or women, but you're saying most of your
It's like Chapie's like 90% women.
Yeah, I could see that.
We just came out with a carbon fiber Chapie though, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was like, what Chapie would I use?
Yeah. Well, I mean, chaps, those things melt for guys too. It's not like it only
100%.
melts.
I mean, this is part of the product line.
Yeah.
And this thing's awesome.
I love the bottles. I wish we did like a straw or a chugger cup or cap. The cap. So these water bottles talk about lessons through entrepreneurship. We had the Chapies, we had the OG, the Plus, and the Pro. And I was like, all right, let's do a water bottle. And I was thinking, let's make the water bottle look like the Chapies, so it's all on brand.
Yeah.
But there's no straw, and the thing clacks a lot. And, there's things I could have done better. And I bought 2,000 of them. So I've had them for a long time. And they're really a slow seller. So now we do buy $100 worth of Chapies, get a free water bottle.
Yep.
A lot of people love the water bottle for its simplicity. They love that it doesn't leak.
Yeah.
It keeps
That's
things cold for a
huge.
long time because it's big.
Yep.
And there's a lot of great things about the water bottle. I mean, it's the only one I use.
The fact that it doesn't leak. You know what I also like is I've never seen one like this size. This is big.
Yeah,
It's
awesome.
pretty custom.
Yeah, no, this holds a lot. And
It's a leader.
Speaking as a woman, we have our emotional support water bottles we take everywhere with us. And we want it to hold a lot because we're constantly drinking. So if it's like one of those smaller ones, you're always having to refill it.
100%.
Where this actually, you could say, okay, yeah, this will last me for what I'm doing for the next 3 hours.
And because
So-
there's no like crazy straw or sipping cup or anything, it's really, really easy to clean. You have a
Yes.
really clean bottle.
Yes. And you can just throw it in a bag. The no leaking is huge.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how many things I bought that leaked. It ruins everything. So I love it.
You
I
know,
can't wait to use this.
So many of these too. I get these from vendors. It's got their logo on it and stuff, and they are small.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, 3 sips and you're done. You're having to find another refill.
No, this
The
size is
good.
awesome. How many ounces is this?
It's a liter, I think. What is that, 64 ounces or something?
Yeah.
32? Something like that. Maybe 32 ounces.
Does it hold vodka well?
I'm sure it does. Yeah, you could probably fit a bottle in here.
That's what the women want.
Yeah, or some white wine.
Also-
depending on the day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you could put a 750 milliliter bottle in there.
Yeah.
For
Pour
sure.
the bottle in. Why not?
And
I would say, I mean, it feels like this stuff should just sell itself. The whole concept of the melting chapstick to me is big. The tin you were mentioning to hold your deodorants and stuff, it's such a utility.
Lipstick.
the Pro, yep.
Yeah, it's such a utility.
Makeup's not cheap.
I know.
That makeup is not. He doesn't know. Makeup's not cheap.
I see
you
the
don't
invoices.
you don't see it all. So
I know.
so you have like
I'm
a
sure.
expensive lipstick and it's ruined. That's devastating.
100%. And it mostly happens in the car. So the Pro's really good at being in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Better than the OG.
have you gone to IWS here down in Deerfield?
I used to work there.
Oh,
Oh,
As
really?
an intern.
have
Yeah.
you shown them Chapie?
No, I should though.
You totally should.
I know.
There's
There's
another
too much
one.
going on. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm working on too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. But that definitely.
I should definitely get an IWS.
You should
Yeah.
for sure. And there's another one in Boynton that everyone goes to.
That one's cool.
That
Right on
one's
A1A.
cool, too.
Oh, there's one in Boynton?
Yeah, not
Oh,
an
wow.
IWS. It's a different
surf
surf shop. Nomad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been to Nomad. I tried to
Yeah.
get in there.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
tried.
No luck. But I tried, I don't know, right when I started the company. And
Come on, Nomad.
Yeah.
Local guy.
Come on,
I'm-
Nomad. Let's go.
And also IWS, you worked there. Come on, like
I know.
you know they.
Gotta
I
support
could
the
totally
local
see
brand.
this at the cash register. That when you pay, I could see that would fit in perfect, and the water bottles. So.
100%. You're
Yeah.
right up there with the chapstick. Someone buys
Yeah.
a chapstick, they're going to buy this.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have any other questions before I ask my last
I
question?
think I'm good.
He gets mad because I go right into my last question. He's like, I had more questions, so now I check.
I
You
think
good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my last question is always, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Good question. Kids, probably in Boca with a house. I can't wait to watch this in 5 years. Um, hopefully running a tech startup and TERA. That'd be the goal, and close to family.
Those are great goals.
Yeah,
Those are wonderful goals.
like just close family, financially independent, and pursuing my dream. You know,
That's wonderful. And appreciating it
yes,
and recognizing it.
hopefully, yeah, we'll see. 5 more years.
Every-
Every year, I tell myself, soon.
Yeah.
Soon I'll
Hopefully,
feel
maybe
good.
in 5 years you'll see it. I hope so, because you should be so proud of yourself. It's amazing what you've accomplished, and at such a young age, and what you've done, your experiences between SpaceX, skydiving in Hawaii, working for NASA, the things you did at UCF, and honestly figuring out or discovering your interests in high school. Very few people do that. A lot of kids just go to college and they still don't know what they want to do. But the fact that you, in the drafting class,
Yeah,
you were able to find such passion, it's such a journey, and you're still so young. So, I'm going to say you're doing a great job. Even if you don't say it to yourself, you've done a
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal,
You can give
phenomenal
yourself a
job
break.
in life.
thank you guys.
Honestly, you really have. And it's very impressive.
I do my best. My proudest accomplishment is my fiance.
And there you go.
you know
That's
what's
a good
funny?
man right there.
Yeah.
What's funny to me is you said you're not much of a consumer, but everything you just described, you're going to be a consumer
Yeah.
with the wife, the
Oh,
kids.
yes.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready, buddy.
I love
Yeah.
soon I'll be a consumer.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Especially with children. It never
Yeah.
ends. So, and we would love to have you back on in 3 years,
I would
5
love,
years.
yeah.
And
Would love to
kind
come
of
back
do a
on.
check-in and see where you're at, and where your life
100%.
is at, for sure.
That'd
So,
be fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So thank you again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this has been great. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for coming.
yeah, and we will put links to Chapie, links to TERA, links to everything in the description. We'll put it on the screen for YouTube off and on. So for our listeners who are interested, you can find where you can buy all of the products that Jacob has made, and the new things he's working on, and all of that. So yeah. And please leave us any questions or comments. We love to hear from you, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.